Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A weak little weather system kicking by with limited moisture this morning, so we're seeing some light rain and some light snow around. It comes to an end as we go through the morning hours, a dusting in spots, the focus being St. Louis South. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. It stays cold. 42 will do it for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, 29 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, 48. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This year hasn't been easy, but nothing can stop the spirit of Christmas. Donate now to 97.1 and radio.com's Bikes for Tykes to benefit Toys for Tots in our community. Whether it's a soccer ball, a baby doll, or a brand new bike, 100% of your virtual donations will be turned into toys to put under a family's tree on Christmas morning. It's 97.1 and radio.com's Bikes for Tykes. Visit 971talk.com/toys to give.
Did you know that on cajonesinc.com, that's the website for the largest Metro East home builder in the area, did you know that they offer 3D virtual tours on their website to showcase model displays and pricing of the options available to you, the home buyer? It's an immersive 3D experience with virtual reality tours and many of their home models. They have a promise and a commitment to transparency and pricing. They post all of their home prices on their website and guaranteed price contracts. No price changes unless you authorize it in advance. Their commitment to customer satisfaction is like none other in the area, and that's what's really given them the success to be the largest Metro East home builder in the area. If you're interested in their Easy Buy program, the C.A. Jones Easy Buy program, no 20% down, no interest payments while your home is being built. You can reach out to them, call or text this number, 618-777-6080. That's 618-777-6080. Or you can visit them online at cajonesinc.com.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a right fit for you. And check out the podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane.
An unprecedented year like 2020 calls for an unprecedented holiday offer from Diamonds Direct. So, for the first time ever during December, we're allowing 4 years zero interest financing on anything and everything. It's our way of helping you make her holiday one to remember. Just pick any beautiful piece of jewelry, take the price, divide by 48, and that's your payment. A $4,000 pair of diamond stud earrings is just $84 a month. And we have the gifts women love. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstones, all new fashion jewelry from top designers. And of course, the largest selection of engagement rings and certified diamonds in the country. After all she's been through in 2020, now's the perfect time to let her know how much you love her. Reward her with a gift that is romantic, timeless, and symbolic. And with 48 months zero interest financing, you can afford to splurge. Diamonds Direct, helping you make that magical moment this holiday season. Shop online at diamondsdirect.com or in person in our showroom. Diamonds Direct.
Olive and 270 at City Place.
Another reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is a cash out refinance? It's doing a cannonball from your porch.
Watch out!
That new car smell. A new college graduate in the family.
With a BA in business and a minor in medieval Renaissance poetry.
Reading the words, paid in full.
Woohoo! Did it!
At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it for our customers. Right now, rates are at a low 2.5%. Call 314-567-GOLD or visit us online at goldenoaklending.com and talk with an experienced local loan officer who will guide you every step of the way. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. 111 West Court Plaza, St. Louis, Missouri.
You can listen to 97.1 on the radio or online with no big tech censorship. Just download the app, stream it online, or say it to your smart speaker. 97.1 FM Talk. Free and fair. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture. Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, it's the election that never ends, and we're going to hear from the president in just a moment. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey, and this is one of those things, Ryan and Katie, where, everybody seems to have made up their mind. Either the election is stolen, it's rigged, it's a complete fraud, or the president lost in a landslide, and the whole thing is silly and a coup. And you're seeing all these memes and all of these claims being made on social media, and so many of them are crazy, outlandish. President Trump is talking about calling in the military and keeping, but no, he's not. He's just not doing that. And so we're going to sort it out here in the courts. But the president was asked about that just a few minutes ago, really about 20 minutes ago or so. And of course, some questions were coming up about COVID-19, because boy, we have a few updates on that as well, particularly around here in the St. Louis area. The number here, of course, is 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Let's go back in time about 20 minutes and get the Q&A, kind of the sparring between the president and the media that just happened.
Relief may be in sight. Will you support this bill? Do you support the $900 billion?
And I think they're getting very close, and I want it to happen, and I believe that they're getting very close to a deal. Yeah.
And you'll support it?
I will, absolutely.
Okay. Mr. President, can I ask you to respond to the comments by your Attorney General, who indicated he has not seen at this point any evidence of fraud enough to overturn the election results? Given that, why is now not the time to concede?
Well, he hasn't done anything, so he hasn't looked. When he looks, he'll see the kind of evidence that right now you're seeing in the Georgia Senate. They're going through hearings right now in Georgia, and they're finding tremendous volumes. So they haven't looked very hard, which is a disappointment, to be honest with you, because it's massive fraud. Whether you go to Wisconsin, where we just filed a case, or Michigan, or if you look at what's happening in Georgia, as an example, or Pennsylvania, if you look at Nevada, which is moving along very rapidly, or Arizona, you saw those numbers come out yesterday. We found massive fraud, and in other states also. This is probably the most fraudulent election that anyone's ever seen.
Do you still have confidence in Bill Barr?
Ask me that in a number of weeks from now. They should be looking at all of this fraud. This is not civil. He thought it was civil. This is not civil. This is criminal stuff. This is very bad criminal stuff. So I just say this. We went through an election. At 10 o'clock, everybody said that was an easy victory for Trump. All of a sudden, the votes started disappearing, miraculously disappearing. We found much of it, but we found far more votes than we need in almost all of these states. And I think I can say in all of these states, far more votes than we need to win every one of them. And I want to just thank my team, because my team is doing an unbelievable job. And more importantly, I want to thank the 74 million plus people that voted, which, Lou, is the largest amount of people that a sitting president has ever had, 74 million plus. And because the level of loyalty, I've never seen anything like it. All over the country, they know it was a fixed election. It was a rigged election. They know it, and I appreciate their support. Thank you, over.
Okay, so saying things like that, you'd better have massive amounts of evidence to back that up. And that's what we need to see. And Ryan, I don't know how that strikes you, but when you hear claims like that on something as massive as our elections, and I understand that there's, I may be making somebody mad right now, but with those kind of accusations, the evidence needs to be put forth really fast.
Yeah, well, that's the key. I mean, I hesitate to say that on most of these things where Trump has said something ahead of anybody, like the first one we all remember is right after he got elected. He said, well, they've been spying on me. And everybody's like, whoa, hang on. True. And then we find out that it's true. And so I don't distrust him, and I don't distrust what he's saying. I'm really concerned about the timeline We're at the beginning of December.
Mm-hmm.
We're running out of time, and they've got to know that. I mean, they know that better than we do, and they're still optimistic. So I'll default to them.
Yeah, I will say that I am convinced that Pennsylvania stinks to high heaven when it comes to the election out there. I think the evidence has been shown in Pennsylvania, but even if Pennsylvania is recounted, relitigated, and goes to President Trump, that's still not enough to overcome what the other states are saying is their results. So, we're going to talk to, we're actually going to talk to Jason Chaffetz about this from Fox News just ahead here in the next segment. So he's got some more information on that as well. Of course, Fox News has fallen out of favor with the president, as we know. But how about this? When you look at Michigan as one of the states that he's referring to, there was a poll worker who was given kind of a firsthand account, and this is what the, I guess, anonymous poll worker had to say.
Well, on November 4th, early in the morning, I was standing at the adjudication table, and a ballot came across the screen. The ballot had a straight party ticket vote for both the Democrat and the Republican. It was a filled-in circle, which is an intentional mark. It's not a dash, it's not a dot. When the ballot came across the screen, there was no other marks. None of the judges and none of the other ballot proposals had been voted on. The poll worker then said, I think I'm going to give it to the Democrats. That's absolutely absurd. That is illegal. The vote should have been tossed out. At that moment, I said, absolutely not. I'm going to challenge this. So I go get her supervisor. And then her supervisor defers to her and says, well, what do you think? And I'm like, well, what do you think? It doesn't matter what you think. It's the law. Our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts are totally irrelevant. You follow the law. And that ballot is to be tossed out. But she wanted to give it to the Democrats. So then I go get the gentleman who was overseeing the entire absentee ballot counting process while Daniel Baxter was gone. So this gentleman's name I do not know. I go get him. He's overseeing the entire process while Daniel Baxter is gone. I ask him. He says to the girl, what do you think? It was disgusting. I was enraged. And I simply asked a question. I said, well, why not give it to the Republicans instead of the Democrats? The gentleman began screaming at me, began yelling at me, began telling me that I had no right to talk to her, and he told her to push the ballot through. And prior to that, that same poll worker, a ballot came across the adjudication screen where this voter had voted for Joe Biden and the Green Party presidential candidate, and she gave the vote to Joe Biden. I also saw the ballots show up in the middle of the night. Also, I inquired about the tabulation numbers from the tabulation machine between shift changes. I was denied that information. We saw a lot of irregular things. This is not an anomaly. Just because all of us have different accounts of what we saw, that doesn't make them invalid. And to expect Secretary Benson to actually do something about it is foolhardy. To accept Dan and Essel to do anything about it would be foolhardy. So we're appealing to you guys to do something about it. Because if our elections aren't fair, then we have no republic left.
Yeah, that's the last part right there is what matters. And here's the thing is, even if President Trump ended up losing the question, I'm not going to say fair and square, but fair and square-ish enough to say that this is the correct outcome, that Joe Biden will be the next president. The crucial thing here is making it clear that the elections, we are going to crack down and make sure we have fair elections. We're going to have transparent elections, because if we don't have confidence in that, look at what happened all over the world when people lost confidence in their election and the representative process.
Well, you said it. All over the world, they're all looking to us because we're supposed to be the shining beacon of fairness and of balance, and making sure that every vote is counted and no fraud is occurring. And if we can't hold that up, there's a vacuum of hope, not just in the United States, but in the whole world. And like you said, the Republic hinges on this stuff. This isn't mild stuff. Like, this is a huge deal, and it's all coming to a head in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So a lot to digest.
Yeah, it really is. And if your candidate lost, your candidate lost. You can deal with that, because you can say, why didn't I win? But if we're looking at and there are irregularities around the country, I'm not convinced that there's enough to overturn not overturn, because they haven't been certified yet. So it's not overturning. I don't know that it's enough to change the projected outcome in all of these states. But the bigger concern for me, even more so than who's going to be the president in the next election, is, have we set the precedent that says it's open season, do whatever you can to stuff the ballot box? And there used to be once upon a time, when disenfranchising voters was something the left was really adamant about. And if you're stuffing the ballot box, you're disenfranchising voters. That's just the way it is.
And there's just a lot of concern. And like you said, it's not just with will we see another 4 years of President Trump?
Right.
It's what does 2022 look like? If there was fraud on the scale that's being reported, and by reported, I mean never being reported, right, but that we're seeing if you look for it, if that exists, then the concern is not for 2020, although you'd love to see it justice happen now. The concern is for 2022 and 2024, because if these people got away with it, do you think that they're just going to stop?
Right. And there's actually efforts in Georgia right now, people in public saying just temporarily move to Georgia for this election. They're not even hiding that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a more up close look at it. Jason Chaffetz from Chaffetz. I'm sorry, Jason Chaffetz from Fox News, and he's also the author of Power Grab and the Deep State. We're going to talk to him about all this just ahead right here. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie Frey.
She paints her eyes as black as night now. Pulls those shades down.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, she gives a smile when the pain comes.
Hey guys, Glover here. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the DGS.
What's holding you back from solving your tax problems? If it's cost, know that the longer you wait, the more expensive it'll be. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Tax resolution doesn't have to be expensive, and waiting year after year to resolve your tax problems can be extremely costly. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. So take the first step now and hire a tax resolution attorney to help you. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. But the longer you wait, the more interest and penalties you'll pay. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Selecting a financial advisor is one of the most important decisions you will make heading into retirement. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money every Saturday morning at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Choosing a financial advisor is a critical step in planning for your retirement. You want to find an advisor you can trust is working in your best interest with the experience to do the job well. Providing guidance solely in your best interest is foundational to our team's approach. And with over 90 years of combined experience, you can have confidence we have the depth of knowledge to help you navigate important financial decisions. If you're retiring in the next 5 years or need a second opinion on your current plan, contact us today for a free consultation. To schedule your free retirement planning consultation, contact us at bobstockdale.com. That's bobstockdale.com. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Trying to lose weight in the holiday season is difficult. It requires an immense amount of commitment and a lot of focus. And I know it's hard, but if you put it off, you're going to have to lose weight in January that you're going to put on right now. I want to encourage you to consider taking that free consultation at Slim 180. I want you to consider what it would mean if you could participate in that medically supervised HCG rapid weight loss program that can help you lose a pound or even more a day. It's really crazy. I've done it. It is amazing. It's my favorite diet I've ever done, and I don't like diets. They have a traditional program as well at Slim 180. They have a quick start lipoline program. You can sit down and you can tell them about your struggles. You can tell them about how your weight got this way. Maybe you've always been overweight and nothing has worked for you. Well, Slim 180 can. Reach out to them at 888-754-6111. That's 888-754-6111. Set up your free consultation today. Make sure you mention the Annie Frey Show when you call. You can visit them online to learn more at myslim180.com.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. With all the bad news out there, it's easy to miss the good news. Mortgage rates are at historic lows, making now a great time to buy or refinance a home. My customers are locking in the best rates in a generation. Now is the time to use the equity in your home to cash out for a remodel, pay off high-interest credit card debt, or rid yourself of the dreaded PMI. During these volatile times, you need an experienced local loan officer working for you. Call me, Michael Mohan, at 314-336-6050. I'm here in St. Louis, and when you call, you talk to me. Whether you are purchasing or refinancing, I want to help you save money on your home loan. Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage, 314-336-6050. Online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, NMLS 250353224143.
The latest local forecast and severe weather coverage you can count on from the name in St. Louis weather.
This is 97.1's Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
On 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Air Comfort Service.
July. It's only been a month since I met you.
You know, all the confusion that's happening with not just the election and the litigation and the recounts and the accusation, but also when you look at the entire process, you look at all the names that were thrown around with the Russia investigation and the impeachment, everything going back years. I think a lot of people's eyes just kind of glazed over. Even people who follow news and follow politics pretty intently. It's almost like a sports junkie who needed to know who's the starting team, the starting lineup on your team, but who's also in the minor league system and, who's in AAA and keep track of all that. I do this for a living and I couldn't keep up with all of it. I'm not so sure that that's accidental. That may be by design. I'm Mike Ferguson, by the way, in for Andy Frey. It is 12:26, joined now by a former Congressman, Jason Chaffetz, who's also now Fox News contributor. Check out the book, Power Grab and the Deep State. Congressman, thank you for being on the program. Am I just missing something or out of touch when I say I think a lot of people's heads are spinning trying to keep up with this because the stakes are so high and there's a new piece of information or a new accusation from somebody almost by the hour?
Yeah, Mike, thanks for having me on. But I agree with you actually on both fronts. I do think people start to glaze over, but I don't think that's an accident. I think that is a strategy that is employed to distract and to tire people out. It's sort of a scorched earth philosophy that says, hey, we're going to go after everything everywhere, but we're going to distract you with this shiny new object over here to the side. And we know you'll look at it, so you'll stop looking at where there are some true vulnerabilities like the Hunter Biden situation, the whole, the origins of the Russia probe, those types of things that should be serious investigations that the mainstream media just simply won't cover because it doesn't fit their political objectives.
Let me ask you, Jason, this is Ryan Wiggins, by the way, with all of these, as Mike mentioned, pieces of information that we just keep getting every single day. We finally are having court hearings in Nevada today on some of these things, but what's the timeline? I mean, are we getting to the point where they're just going to try to run out the clock and maybe we're not going to see hearings in court for a lot of these things, or is there still time?
So as it relates to the election fraud, I mean, the state, look, elective races are run by counties. They're certified by states, and then it goes to the Electoral College. It meets in the House of Representatives in later in December. So the reason it takes so long is we don't just allow some news organization to deem somebody the winner. They have to actually go through this whole process. And so I do think running out the clock is part of that strategy because there are constitutionally directed dates that have to be met. And but I see no reason why Donald Trump can't continue to pursue where he sees wrongdoing. I think that's sort of the American way. I think he's doing it the right way, going to the courts, and we'll see what the courts end up with.
Wait, I thought the election was over when CNN called it.
Oh, yeah, of course. when they had pre-written the headlines. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, let's talk about what should we be watching. We've obviously got now the what's being called the Durham counsel or Durham investigation. A lot of people are getting lost in all of this investigation, this hearing, this group. What does that have to do with where Donald Trump is right now politically, and what should we be watching for?
I guess my biggest concern, Mike, is the equal application of justice. And that's where I feel like things have really gone askew and awry for a long time now at our Department of Justice. It just does not feel like you get the same treatment. That if you're Hillary Clinton or you're the Democrats, you get one, but you play by one set of rules. But if you're a conservative and a Republican, well, then it's a whole other set of rules. And the evidence I'd point to is the Inspector General for the Department of Justice has issued more than 1,000 pages of stern rebuke about the Department of Justice, with, I believe it's more than a dozen referrals that could lead to potential criminal prosecution. And yet we had one, the lowest hanging fruit that was out there. And so I'm glad to know that Attorney General or Durham, Mr. Durham out of Connecticut, now has this special prosecutor ability to go out, call witnesses, do investigations, and that won't just be shut down by a potential Biden administration.
We're speaking with Jason Chaffetz, Fox News contributor and author of Power Grab and the Deep State. Jason, with what you're just talking about with the DOJ, I wonder, as you've gone through all of this, and obviously you know much more than we do about how deep the deep state is, and you wrote a book about it. Are there any organizations within the government of the alphabet soup of organizations that that we should look to and say, yeah, we can trust these guys?
I think the overwhelming majority of people within these organizations are trustworthy, but it only takes 1, 2, or 12 to get together, and then things really go awry. At the Federal Bureau of Investigations, when they started to look at Hillary Clinton and then they started to look at Donald Trump, that was not done by a field office. That was done by Main Justice, and that's really where it went off the rails. My ongoing criticism is that Director Wray doesn't seem to have cleaned up the mess. I mean, when you can go to a court, the FISA court, and lie and have documents that are wrong, shouldn't somebody, either the court or the executive branch, hold some people accountable? It's not enough to just say, yeah, hey, sorry about that. We won't do that again. I mean, if you or I did that, Mike, if you did that, you'd be in jail.
Yep.
And I don't know that Annie would visit you. So I'm just saying.
I'm not sure my wife would visit me either. I'd just be out there alone. Well, and this is what we were talking about leading into this conversation, Congressman. And that is, if Donald Trump lost, he lost. If Joe Biden lost, right, he lost. But at this point, the stakes are so high, it's win at all costs. What happens if we lose faith in our electoral process, in our election system in this country, or systems with all the states? I mean, if we lose faith in that, what happens to us as a body politic?
Well, I think that's the concern, and I think we're already there. You had 70 million plus people vote for Donald Trump, and a huge portion of them, I don't know how much it is, doesn't feel like that Joe Biden legitimately won. And for a long time, the Democrats were saying Russia, 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 that Donald Trump didn't really win. But there was a full-on investigation with Robert Mueller and tens of millions of dollars, and they found nothing. So they should have gained a lot of confidence that Donald Trump won this thing on the up and up without any outside influence. But why is there the same type of enthusiasm to go and make sure that this election was done without the fraud? When they have these, they go into Arizona and then they realize that their voting system was connected to the internet. Can anything go wrong on the internet? Boy, I don't know. Wouldn't you be shocked if somebody manipulated the internet? I mean, those types of things need to be looked at by experts.
Are there any particular lawsuits or cases or incidents like that, Jason Chaffetz on the phone with us, that you are particularly watching or that you think stand a chance of, making it through the court?
Well, look, the chances are very, very slim to be the most optimistic. I think what happens in Nevada will be interesting. Some of these other cases could be interesting. But they need to produce evidence. It's one thing to say everything's rigged, but on the other hand, you got to actually produce evidence. Now, kind of shame on my own party, Republicans, for allowing, if they don't trust these voting machines, we probably should have said that 3, 4, 5 months in advance of the election, not after the election. And the only one that I'm aware of is my old committee, the House Oversight Committee, which issued a report in September saying, hey, this mail-in balloting, this is fraught with problems and ripe for fraud. And it just makes sense on the surface that it's ripe for fraud. So we better get our arms around it and fix it for next time. Putting the genie back in the bottle on this one, that's going to be a tough. They've got to come up with more evidence.
I completely agree that the mail-in balloting is begging for fraud. It's not just open to it. I think it's begging for fraud, and probably just a little wink and let me look the other way right here. But if you're on the side that wins in part because of that, you're going to start screaming, oh, you lost, therefore you don't want to make it easier to vote. You want to make it harder to vote. That's what the messaging is going to be. But to me, the mail-in voting is a disaster, not just for Donald Trump in this particular situation, but for anything that is, if election integrity is important to you, regardless if you're a Republican or Democrat, you should be at least skeptical of mail-in ballots, if not absolutely against it.
Well, you should be absolutely against it. I mean, there are certain ways to do absentee ballots where you request a ballot. That is wholly different than the government just sending literally tens of millions of ballots out en masse and seeing what comes back. I mean, authenticating the vote, trust but verifying, should be the mantra. And there are ways to do that, even with electronics. If you do, there's a company out there called Vote, VOATZ, that does blockchain voting. We've done it here in Utah. They've done it in Massachusetts. They've done it in other places where there's a paper trail, so to speak. You can actually see, everybody can see how things are flowing, to give people a lot more confidence. But again, something for the future, but we have to deal with what's at hand.
And just before you jump in here, Ryan, I'm sorry. I just got a note that the Washington Post is reporting a second ago that the Wisconsin Supreme Court has declined to take up a challenge by President Trump's campaign, which obviously sets his effort to challenge those results back. I don't have all the information on that, but that was just reported a few minutes ago. Ryan?
Jason Chaffetz on the phone with us still. We're running out of time here, so just a couple questions left. But since that news just broke, why are courts refusing to hear these things?
I don't know. I mean, they have discretion, but I'm sure the Trump team has already pre-planned to say, hey, this is accelerates our ability to get it before the Supreme Court of the United States. Whether or not they take it up, I don't know. But you have heard justices in the past, particularly, I think it was Justice Alito, express some concerns. We'll see what happens, but that isn't necessarily totally bad news for Team Trump, because your next step is going to the Supreme Court of the United States.
No, that's an important thing to remember. All right, former Congressman Jason Chaffetz, thank you so much for the time. The book is Power Grab and the Deep State, and you're on Twitter at Jason in the House. Really appreciate your perspective here. You got such a better look at it than all of us here in Flyover Country.
No, hey, thanks for having me on. I really do enjoy it, and nice chatting with you.
All right, the number here is 314-241-9797. You can also call us at 866-455-9797. Let's cancel everything because of, the Rona. We're fighting with that right here in St. Louis, but around the country, we're still hearing we have to shut down everything and everybody. Are you going to do it? We'll talk about it still ahead right here on the Andy Frey Show. I'm Mike Ferguson.
that I would be alright if I only knew that one day I would.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Looking for the right one at the wrong door. We fit together.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsl.honorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Obamacare open enrollment has begun. Did your rates go up? There is an affordable alternative, and you don't have to enroll in a government plan. Tom Yakupin at New Era Health Plans has helped countless individuals and families in the St. Louis area save 30 to 60% on health insurance with excellent coverage. New Era Health Plans support small businesses that are being hit hard right now. They recently saved a family-owned business over $15,000 a year on their health insurance with lower deductibles. If you are uninsured or on expensive COBRA or paying extreme rates for your work coverage, New Era Health Plans can help you. They will provide you the best coverage at the lowest rate. Go to newerahealthplans.com or call Tom, an expert with 30 years experience, at 855-296-4500. That's 855-296-4500. Or go to newerahealthplans.com. That's newerahealthplans.com. A quality plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Clarendale Clayton, refined senior residences coming in summer 2021 to the corner of Clayton and Hanley Roads truly is the center of it all, offering elegance, hospitality, and a wealth of amenities. Clarendale Clayton features 13 floors of independent living, assisted living, and memory care. Information Center is now open. Call 314-208-3025 or visit ClarendaleClayton.com.
They say that going to college is about knowledge, to get a job and a degree. But what if there was a place, an experience like no other, where after 4 years, you left with more than just knowledge? A place to find who you are, find purpose, and rise to challenge. See through a new lens and make the most of your place in the world. Would a place like that interest you? At Missouri Baptist University, students experience more than higher education. It's more than degrees and more than meaningful relationships. It's about transformation. The outlook you'll leave with will bring light to darkness and set the foundation to become the person you've always wanted, your best. Are you ready for something more? Find your light at Missouri Baptist University. Visit mobap.edu and shine on.
Find your light in 2021 through Missouri Baptist University online. More than 17 completely online undergraduate and graduate programs begin January 11th. Learn more at mobap.edu and shine on.
Hey there, it's Billy with Inside Out Tax. I used to work for the IRS and I help people every day get to the bottom of their tax problems. What most folks don't know is that the IRS by law only has 10 years to collect a tax debt. Once this date expires, the debt is removed. If you have a tax debt that you'd like for me to look at, then give me a call to set up a free 30-minute consultation at 636-495-5700 or reach out to us through our website at insideouttax.com.
You can listen to 97.1 on radio.com through your smart speaker. It's information with perspective. Just ask it to play 97.1 FM Talk, powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
You know, I got a pretty strong small L libertarian streak in me. I think we all know
I
that.
do know
but,
that.
yeah.
That is something
That's,
I know about you.
That's not going to stop me from saying there ought to be a law to ban that song.
This song?
Are you Chumbawamba forever, Mike.
That is one of those
forever.
earworms that just won't go away.
It is like, it makes the most sense. I get knocked down, but I get up again because you're never going to keep me down. It makes the most sense ever.
And then you just keep drinking.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Like a whiskey drink and vodka drink.
Lager drink and
cider drink.
Cider drink. That's what it is. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie today. And Ryan, we just had some breaking news. The Supreme Court in the state of Wisconsin says they're not going to hear President Trump's challenge. There is some more information coming out. What do you got?
Yeah, so that what they've said is not that they won't hear it ever. It's just that they said that we can't take it directly. So you have to file it at a lower court and have it come up the normal way. I don't know that it's really common for them to take on cases directly like that, which is why they've decided to not. But it does mean that the case isn't gone. It's my concern as it was before.
Okay.
Do we have enough time?
Yeah, exactly. And that's okay. So that's good to know. So it wasn't a rejection of the lawsuit by the Trump campaign, which is what the headline kind of indicated, because it popped up and there was just a brief on my phone that I'm reading on the spot. So they're basically saying, all right, you got to go through the process, which means if you're on Joe Biden's campaign, you want to do everything to slow that down because we have actual constitutional deadlines to deal with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So the number here, 314-241-9797, 866-455-9797. Still ahead here. You know what? COVID restrictions. Obviously, everybody's fighting over it here. There's an interesting question that I kind of came up with because I saw this on a couple of the TV news stations, websites. Our sister station KMOX have it. And this is the union that represents the health department inspectors in St. Louis County. It's a Teamsters union. They are begging the public to stop treating their health inspectors really bad when they walk in to shut down businesses. I don't know if you saw this story, Ryan. They're saying just show some common decency. Treat these people like you'd want to be treated. We're just doing our jobs. And I got to tell you, here's my question. I think I'm one of those who thinks Sam Page, to say he's grossly overstepped his authority and any amount of common sense or decency doesn't even begin to scratch the loathing I have for, say, Sam Page right now in all of this. But it struck me as odd that the Teamsters were saying, you need to be nice to us just because you disagree with us. I'm thinking, you guys look back over the last 60, 70 years of your organization's history, you may want to sit that one out, talking about being nice to people and treat others the way you'd want to be treated. But having said that, you're in the restaurant or you're working there or you're in the retail shop or the bar or whatever, and here they come and they're going to shut you down. And these businesses are trying to survive. Basically, some of them are faced with the choice. We can comply with Sam Page's edicts, his royal decrees, and go out of business, maybe go into bankruptcy if you're the entrepreneur, put your people out of work, or we can do business and push through and deal with it and fight another day on this. And I got to tell you, I have a lot of respect for these restaurants that are saying, you know what, we're doing business. There are people that want to buy our legal products. They're willing to give us money for it. We're going to do it. So when the health inspectors go in, like with the cops earlier this week, and you noticed that they were going after the high profile restaurants that were pushing back the most vocally first. So I think they were trying to make an example out of people. They were setting I know there are other restaurants that are still opening in their dining room. They're just not making a big deal. So they're available, but you got to know where to look. And It's so weird to say we got to say things like that about steak and burgers and pizza.
It's so bizarre.
That is so strange.
You secretly have to go buy a pizza somewhere.
Yeah. So the health inspectors are basically saying, don't be mad at us just because we're going in and shutting people down and putting them out of work. We're not the ones that issued the orders. Should they be? Is that a legitimate thing? I mean, I got to tell you, I personally think that people should be taking it personally and look these guys and gals in the eye and say, look at what you're doing for a living. This is what you choose to do for a living, is shut down livelihoods on this. It is personal. You don't get to say, well, it's just my job. It's professional. I leave it behind at 5 o'clock when I go home or at 10 o'clock when I go home. I don't blame people for taking it personally and taking it out on them when they're, now you shouldn't obviously assault anybody or threaten to assault them or even dox them or anything like that. But when people are giving you the what for and getting personal with you when you're doing that, I don't blame them personally.
Yeah, it's the same situation as if you were calling customer service because you didn't have your dishwasher delivered or your cable's not right or whatever. You're mad at the company. You're not necessarily mad at the person you're talking to on the phone, but who else are you supposed to talk to? You don't get to talk to the CEO of the dishwasher company. You talk to the person on the other end of the line when you call customer service. So if you get angry at them, you're not angry at the person. You're angry at this whole injustice, whatever.
Should you be mad at the person, though, in this case, because they're participating in it and they're the ones coming in to do the actual execution of it?
That's a fine line because it's it can go either way, because if you, the question for me is the conscience of the person on the health board or the inspector.
Right.
If they disagree with the orders, then what do they do? Do they decide that I'm going to take a stand and tell my boss that I'm not going to do my job and
or
cost
not
my
have a job? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that,
you know,
and that may be what they're doing is they're choosing, well, I can't lose my job, so I'm going to take away all their jobs.
Which, you know, it unfortunately, that's the situation that everybody's in right now. Everybody's having to ask questions of, well, how important is safety, or how important is freedom to me? And what will it cost me to stand up for those things? Everybody in almost every industry is going to be faced with that if this continues. And we're going to have to decide where you draw the line. Do you draw the line on, well, I believe in freedom, but I want to keep my job, or I believe in safety and therefore I'm all in? You know, everybody's going to be on that spectrum, and everybody's going to have to decide that for themselves.
See, I know, Mike, you said that you might be upset with the person, and I don't think I would be upset with that person. But in that same vein, I'm like, you have to have thick skin. You need to have thick skin if you're going to go into these companies and you're going to make a decision like that. And this is your profession and this is your job. You know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And these people, as Ryan just said, are going to shoot the messenger. They're not going to, I mean, and they might go higher up than that, but you're the person right then and there saying you're done, no more job,
right?
No more profit. You have to fire everybody else. It's your employees, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's, you're
sorry that you may have to go into bankruptcy and your family business is going under. But yeah, don't get mad at me just because I'm the one, virtually padlocking the doors.
And they don't have, I believe, they don't have the sympathy to say something like that. You don't get my sympathy for choosing that profession and knowing what you're doing. I'm sorry, you don't know. People are going to be angry and PO'd and upset.
Yeah, see, I saw those stories, the different, KMOX and I think Channel 4 was the other one I was looking at, and the union putting out a statement saying, don't just show us common decency. And my answer is, you're not showing common decency by being part of this process here. In my opinion, I know there's a lot of people that are probably pissed off right now that I'm saying that because they believe in all of these things, and we can have that conversation. But, to me, somebody walks in and says, I'm getting a paycheck and I'm the one who's going to go in and I'm going to deliver. We're not talking about an eviction notice where somebody didn't pay the rent and is getting hammered by their own bad fortune or mistakes or whatever. We're talking about people who are doing a business and they are being singled out by the government and they're trying to survive. So I don't blame people for taking it personally on that person who's part of the process.
That's what the government has put us into. That's the situation that we're in, is that every person now has to ask themselves, what do they believe and why?
Yeah.
And how much are they willing to give up for it?
Right. And I'm also one of those, like Mark was talking earlier this week and last week too, about, hey, which restaurants are open? I'm going to go out of my way to go buy food from them and go dining in there.
Yeah.
And I've done it.
I mean, and I don't blame people for taking this kind of rash step because we have heard multiple people, whether it be pundits, whether it be Dr. Fauci, we've heard all throughout the media say, if we go through another lockdown, I don't know how these businesses are going to survive. And if you're one of those people and you've been the owner and it's a family, it's a generational thing where your family might have owned this business before you, you're going to fight tooth and nail for it.
Right.
And you're going to do whatever it takes to keep it open.
Yeah. The big chain places will probably be fine though.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the local ones that give our communities all the flavors that aren't going to be able to survive. And actually, I was about to mention this, and Mike just mentioned this on the Andy Frey Show Facebook page. Did you see this situation in New York City the other day? Okay, so there's like a bar and grill up there, and apparently under these orders, they're not supposed to be serving. They're not supposed to be a sit-down restaurant, I guess. Well, there were some people that went in and said, hey, can I order a little bit of food? I'm kind of hungry. And they went, sure, we'll get you some food. Well, that was a sting operation.
Ugh.
And as soon as the undercover officers got their contraband bar food, let me say that again. Once the undercover officers got their contraband bar food, uniformed police officers swarmed in and raided the place and actually arrested people and hauled them out. That's where we are in this country right now.
That is so sad. And it just makes you concerned that we really are. But we've been saying this for years. But now the evidence, it's actually happening.
Yeah.
There are two very, very different views on what it means to be American.
Yeah.
And there are people who believe that the Constitution is meant to be in place to protect freedoms like this. And there are people who don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing the clash of those things in almost every facet of society right now.
Now, I've been told over the last, say, 4 years that resisting was very virtuous. So if that's a virtue, because I've been hearing that for 4 years now, right? That if you resist, you don't comply, that's virtuous. If you don't like the government, is that not virtuous anymore in this case because somebody wants to sell a burger and a beer?
It's just sad. It's unbelievable. It sometimes you take a step back, and we're talking about it every day. If you listen to the Annie Frey show, you listen to 97.1, you're hearing all of it too, and it just makes you. It makes you question how far things have gotten.
Yes.
So quickly. I mean, it's really a lot of it's happened this year. Well, that's how fast it's happened.
And that's the point to me is the people who, pushed back against, I don't think you should be mandating a mask, for instance. Okay, so let's have a debate over whether you should wear a mask. To me, that's a whole separate question than whether one should be mandated. But then when somebody said, well, we're going to shut down some businesses to flatten the curve, we're just going to tell everybody to stay at home, safer at home. And people were pushing back, and we were called crackpots, and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And look at where we are now. We have undercover police going into locally owned restaurants. We have a governor in Oregon saying, call the police on your neighbors if too many people show up. We have mayors and governors saying, you're not allowed to have visitors over to your house. And you've got right here in St. Louis County, in the region, you've got somebody saying, well, we're going to do a lockdown. If you live in St. Louis County, you have to stay at home unless you are going out for one of A, B, C, D or reasons. And we adapted to that way too fast. Every single American, Republican, Democrat, Independent, other should have been pushing back at some point going, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, this is going way too fast. You don't own us. All right, Tyrus, coming away here just ahead. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey.
Since you've been spending more time at home, you may have been cleaning and reorganizing and decided it's time to part with some of the jewelry you never wear or cash in some of those collectibles gathering dust. Bring your gold, silver, and diamonds to the all-new Jewels on Hampton. They're paying some of the highest prices on precious metals, coins, and memorabilia. Exclusive designs from Alvanza's Jewel Art Designs, watches, and thousands of other treasures await you at Jewels on Hampton. Come by and see the new jewelry displays that will wow you, and the wide variety, and most importantly, the price. During these times of caution, Jewels on Hampton is taking all the precautions and measures to be CDC compliant for your safety. Jewels on Hampton. So whether you need to cash in some of that old jewelry you don't need or trying to find that perfect ring, necklace, or watch, you'll get the best prices on the all-new Jewels on Hampton, where they pay top dollar every day. 4506 Hampton in St. Louis Hills and jewelsonhampton.com.
Hey, Annie Frey here to give you a heads up on what's happening at Cassens Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Glen Carbon, Illinois. If you are shopping for a vehicle, I know you're shopping online. Everybody shops for cars online. Cassens knows that everybody shops for cars online. That's why you go to cassenscan.com to see what they have available for you. But when you walk into Cassens, you're going to get treatment a little bit above what you're going to get from the rest. They are a legacy business in the Metro East area, and they've been around for quite some time. People come back again and again and again to purchase cars at Cassens for a few reasons. They know, first and foremost, they're going to get the best deal at Cassens. Cassens is going to do everything they can to get them the absolute lowest price on a vehicle when they come shop there. They trust them, and that's how Cassens has people coming back again and again, because people have learned to trust them over the years. I myself have bought multiple vehicles from Cassens over the course of time. If you're interested in Chrysler Pacifica family pricing, you better hurry and go over there and get it. That's the vehicle I purchased from them, and I love it. It is so good for our family, and the service that comes along with purchasing at Cassens is second to none. If you'd like to learn more, you can visit them online, find out about everything that I'm talking about here at cassenscan.com.
It's time for your garage door winter maintenance with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is just $89.95. That's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Trusted by homeowners just like you since 1926. Don't be fooled by others with a similar name. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com or call 314-781-5200.
For everything that's happening, with analysis that's free and fair. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Don't miss a minute. Download the radio.com app or stream the station live anytime through your smart speaker. KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group. 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
The president loses in court. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Wisconsin Supreme Court refusing to hear President Trump's effort to overturn a win for Joe Biden in that battleground state. Though at this point, it's on a technicality. Today's ruling says the case has to go through lower courts first. The Wisconsin lawsuit seeks to disqualify more than 200,000 ballots in the state's 2 biggest Democratic counties, one of multiple challenges in several states. The president still claiming massive fraud.
This is probably the most fraudulent election that anyone's ever seen.
And telling reporters Attorney General Bill Barr should be taking a closer look after Barr said no evidence of widespread fraud has been found, also emphasizing the difference between criminal complaints and the campaign's civil lawsuits. President Trump says he will support a COVID relief bill, and now the House Speaker and Senate Majority Leader are expressing a shared commitment to get it done as soon as possible. There is still a gap on the price tag. An Illinois teen charged with killing protesters in Wisconsin will have to face all of the charges at trial after his latest court appearance today. Fox's Jeff Manasso has this live.
Lisa, Kenosha County Judge Lauren Keating denies motions to drop 2 of 6 charges against Kyle Rittenhouse, who's accused of killing 2 men and injuring another in late August during rioting and protests in Kenosha, with a case now moving forward.
I do find the state has demonstrated probable cause that in this case felonies were committed relating to the counts in the complaint. I bind over as such that probable cause further exists that this defendant committed those felonies.
Rittenhouse's attorneys say video evidence proves their case that the teen acted in self-defense. Arraignment for Rittenhouse is set for next month. Lisa.
Thanks, Jeff. Rittenhouse is out of jail after posting $2 million bond last week through a defense fund. On Wall Street, a rally continues. Right now, the Dow's up 111 points. America is listening to Fox News.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers! That's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 40% off a new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 40% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 40% off and a free camera today.
Dell Technologies has announced their Cyber Monday sale. They're releasing new doorbusters every weekday, plus up to 50% off cutting-edge tech for your business. There's no better time to upgrade your small business with the latest laptops and desktops with Intel Core processors, plus there's free shipping on everything. Yes, everything. Give Dell Technologies advisors a call. They'll identify the right tech solution for your business. Call 877-ASK-DELL or go to Dell.com/SP Cyber Monday. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Any light moisture of rain and snow out of the picture now, or at least it's just about out of the picture. Otherwise, it's just a cloudy afternoon, and it's kind of cold, 42, 43 for most of us. Clouds this evening, turning partly cloudy late night, 29. Friday, partly sunny, 48. Saturday and Sunday, partly to mostly sunny skies, 45 on Saturday, 42 on Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Skip the mall this holiday season and come to Shane Company, where shopping's safer and easier than ever. To keep everyone safe, we're taking extra precautions, including temperature screenings, mandatory masks, and social distancing. We've also installed a new air purification system with state-of-the-art technology. To make shopping easy for you, we have curated holiday gifts wrapped with a bow and ready to give. This year, one of my favorites is our exclusive star pendant with a natural ice blue sapphire for $165. It's the perfect gift for the star in your life. Another favorite, our elegant cultured pearl pendant with diamond accents for $465. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com. Open weekdays 9 till 9, Saturday 10 till 8, and Sunday 11 to 5.
Windows, windows, windows. How many of you have those drafty windows? You know, the room that has the windows that are old. They came with the house probably when the house was built. They're, factory-based windows. They're vinyl, and they've just lived their lives, and the time has passed. You have to put a space heater in that room to keep the room from being so chilly and making the whole entire house cold. Let me introduce you to Infinity Windows that are exclusive to Lakeside Renovation and Design. They are fiberglass replacement windows, and they are 8 times stronger than vinyl. There are less frames around the windows. It gives you bigger, broader, more beautiful views from your house. And they also come with a ton of different finishes that you can use to really plus up the look of your windows on your home. Really classy way to make your windows, the finish of your windows, match the rest of your house. If you are tired of your warped frames on your old vinyl windows, rotted frames on wood windows, or leaky windows, or if they don't operate properly, if they don't go up and down right, you need to get them replaced, and you need to do it with the people you can trust. It's Lakeside Renovation and Design, 636-978-5000, online at lakesidерenovationanddesign.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure is just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of ENT and Sleep Medicine Associates called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with ENT and Sleep Medicine Associates. Call 618-206-5935. 618-206-5935. That's 618-206-5935.
Facts presented fairly. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Stream the station anytime at 971talk.com or download the app for your phone at radio.com. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I've got some bad news for some people, Ryan. We'll talk about it a little bit later on today. If you wanted to keep bringing your emotional support porcupine onto the airplane, you're not going to be allowed to do it, and your emotional support anaconda somewhere, you're not going to be able to do it. They're changing the rules on that, so we need to just forewarn people you can't do that anymore, Ryan.
That is unfortunate. What if I pluck the porcupine first?
Yeah, no, you're still
not okay.
No, your emotional support iguana, whatever it is, you're not able to do it. Oh, and I suppose if you had an emotional support dog that you just want to keep with you, people have been abusing the heck out of that whole thing, so that's not going to happen. So we'll explain that a little bit later on. It is 10 minutes after 1:00. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie Frey here, and in just a moment we're going to chat with our good friend Tyrus, and then later on this hour, Tim Jones, of course, hosts the show on Sunday night here, former Missouri Speaker of the House, going to be with us as well. But right now, let's talk to our good friend Tyrus.
What's up?
Hey, Tyrus, how you doing? Hey, I want to get your take on this. We were just talking going into the segment here about the situation in New York where the law enforcement actually did a sting operation, convinced a bar to sell them some bar food, and then they got raided and people hauled off in handcuffs because they sold food. And this is where we are now in the country.
Yeah, that's what the police could be best doing with their time.
Yeah.
When put this together. So you arrested somebody for serving food, I guess. But I guess they're breaking the law, I guess, of whatever curfew, whatever rules put out there. But to set up the sting just seems to be a little much. That's a lot of man hours and taxpayer dollars to catch somebody trying to sell food during a pandemic. It just seems like a misappropriation of funding. I'm sure it's not that hard to be like, hey, watch that store. I think they're selling food. So let's get it, wear a wire, go undercover, get Benny Pizzas in trouble for giving out food, for selling food. And then now the person get arrested, got a good chance of catching COVID because they're in the system. Like, it just doesn't make it makes zero sense. You want to find somebody, I get it, but to go out and arrest somebody, I think is too much. And listen, this is coming from somebody who follows the CDC guidelines religiously. It's annoying. It sucks. But at the same time, if somebody's willing to know what's out there and to take their own chances, I really, if it's not affecting me directly, I don't feel it's like my right to tell them what to do, or anyone else's for that matter.
Yeah. Hey, Tyrus, we're looking forward now to the possibility of multiple vaccines, and those coming in maybe even before the end of the year for some people groups. Do you anticipate that the minute we start getting those, that this stuff's going to start to ease up, or is this stuff kind of going to linger for quite a while, you think?
My sneaking suspicion is that it will linger on. Probably the biggest reason why is they're going to want to get a good database of how people are doing 2 or 3 months after taking the vaccine. So they're going to probably see, like, with the vaccine, with social distancing and wearing a mask, is there even bigger drop, which there should be, if that's the case. But I'm sure that we'll be dealing with this until probably summertime, I would imagine, unfortunately. But just as fast as the vaccines get out there, and then you hope, of course, that there's no side effects that we didn't think about, that weren't looked at. You got to worry about that a little bit too. So, but I would imagine that anytime you're looking for the government to do the right thing and control, and the chances are it's going to become parsed, and Republicans are going to want to do it too fast, and Democrats are going to want to do it too slow. So we'll have lots of that argument. Should be fun TV for the next month or two, with all the experts telling us why they think their way is right, with no wisdom or field experience.
Yeah, because there's such a pressure on, and I don't want to give too much credit to a lot of the politicians, but they are in a tough spot when everybody is yelling, do something, even if doing something doesn't make it any better, you just don't want to be the politician or the bureaucrat who can be accused of not doing something and just fill in the blank with whatever something might be.
Yeah, but that something seems to be being a big hypocrite. Like you laying out all these, we see all these rules being laid out, and then he's on a private jet to a party. You know what I'm saying? Like the politicians are playing it to their bases instead of playing it just straight up. And we're seeing a lot of the reasons why people raise their eyebrow at politics so much when you see, and it's 99% is Democratic officials that are saying one thing and doing whatever the hell they want to do. And that's just a really tough message to send to people who are sacrificing and giving up stuff. And then you hear a politician tell you, like, you're going to be arrested or fined if you're seen doing this. And then literally 48 hours later, a picture of them is in a restaurant at a private party with over 50 people at it. You know, it's hard. That's real hard to sell to Americans.
Yeah.
You know, and we're seeing a lot of that from the group that was supposedly so focused on getting us back as shutdowns and lockdowns. When it really looks like they were more interested in shutdown and lockdowns to make sure there was no lines for them at the airport when they go on their vacations and stuff. Yeah. It's literally starting to look.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fox Nation host of Nuff Said and Fox News contributor Tyrus on the phone with us. Dr. Fauci has been in some hot water. Well, when has he not been in some hot water? But he's flip-flopped quite a bit, and so have a lot of people on schools. Where do you stand on kids being in-person schools?
Well, I think when you're dealing with science, you got to have room to flip because things are going to change as information goes. From what I've seen, I can only deal with what I do with my own kids, and my kids go to school. So while they're able to, I find that there is just as much, if we have to go to the supermarket or you have to go out of the house for whatever the reason is, it seems to be the controlled, at least what they're doing here in where I live, they do a really good job. And when they do have cases, they isolate and they quarantine. And so I think it's the best place for them is to be in school. Now, granted, every school is not the same. Every city is not the same. And if you have a school that doesn't have the ability to provide a safe environment, then you have to think about, nope, we got to homeschool. But I think every situation is different based on what your parenting beliefs are. But at the same time, the schools should be open as long as they're able to provide the CDC guidelines, which we're seeing that they are. And we're not seeing a huge number of child-to-child infections and stuff like that. So I think we should be in school. When you look at all the mental issues and stuff we're going through, and even simple things as kids, making sure they're getting their lunch, their breakfast, their lunch, you know, and not having to deal with the stresses of maybe mom and dad or one of the parents is out of work and that frustration. You know, it's just better for the kids to be at school.
You know, there are some shrill voices on, you know, frankly, on our side of the conversation that go way overboard. It's a hoax. If you wear a mask, you're a sheep and all this kind of stuff, which is just, you know, it's nonsense on that side. But Tyrus, it just seems to me that the longer we go in this, the angrier people get with each other, debating whether it's mask mandates or shutdowns or whatever the case is that we're basically coming down to an argument over should the government or people who are really worried about coronavirus be allowed to control other people, control their businesses, put people in homes. And anybody who says, no, I want to live my life is being accused of being selfish out there. So we've got not just a health conversation, we got a cultural conversation too.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. There's two things. There's the way I look at it. I look at, I break it down to myself, what I do in my home opposed to what I do in public. I wear a mask based off my own research, looking that it does provide some protection. It's not 100%. Doesn't influence my speech or anything like that. So I wear my mask and I social distance, and I get that. If I go to a restaurant that says I have to wear a mask to go inside, and I don't want to wear a mask, then I'm not going to go in that restaurant. I'm going to respect that restaurant's wishes. If you come into my house and I don't want to wear a mask, that's my house. And so if that's not okay with you, then I guess you can leave. So we just have to be, it's all comes down to really about consideration. And we got to stop listening to extremes on both sides. One side said we should basically wear a plastic suit or a bubble around everybody. And then the other side is it's a hoax and that, you're not American if you wear a mask. They're both stupid. But what needs to happen is we need to look at things realistically. We need to give families the ability to make their own choices. Here's the data. This is what it's looking like if you're going to spend Thanksgiving today. Use your best judgment, because that's all we can really do. Threatening people's not going to change things. If anything, it incites them. It starts groups fired up to defy it. And then every time we see a holier than thou criticism coming down from the left, typically the government official making it is then in the news 3 days later for being mad because they got caught with not wearing a mask, getting their hair done in San Francisco. So I mean, obviously it's not an easy thing to practice. It's difficult. We know there's sharks in the water. We take all the precautions we can, hopefully, and we just respect each other as much as we can. I'm not going to go into a place of business that says you have to wear a mask. And if I'm I don't believe in masks, then guess what? I don't go into that place in business.
Yeah, that's respecting their property rights.
Yeah, and it's just hey, listen, when clothes became fashionable, I'm sure there was a few people in the crowd that were like, no, I prefer loincloths. I don't want to wear pants. I don't want to wear a shirt. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, they no shirt, no shoes, no apparently pants, were optional, and we all had to wear shirts and shoes and stuff. So, I mean, we just look at it change, and there's always going to be someone who has an issue with it. But honestly, we just need to respect each other. If a business says you got to wear a mask to go in there, you wear the damn mask. And if you don't go in it.
Yeah, I'm going to wait to decide whether I agree with you on the loincloth thing, depending on who wants to wear the loincloth and loincloth only. I think I got to be subjective on that.
All over time, they won out. Close one.
Exactly. All right. It's enough said on Fox Nation. You can find him at Planet Tyrus on Twitter. Hey, Tyrus, good talking to you again. Thanks for the insight, man.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right. Still ahead here. No, you cannot bring your emotional support badger on the plane anymore. We'll explain why. And then right after that, our good friend Tim Jones going to give us a look at what's happening around the state of Missouri in particular. But yeah, he's got his finger on the pulse of the national politics as well. That's all coming up on the Annie Frey Show. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie.
I've been living a lonely life. I've been sleeping here instead. I've been sleeping in my bed.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
So show me family, or the blood that I will bleed. I don't know where I belong. I don't know where
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Stewart's American Mortgage, home of the bagel loan. Reach out to Stewie right now because it is time to get that bagel loan done, as we are going to have a 0.5% fee assessed here with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac soon, starting December 1st. Stewie is the guy to go to. When you want that bagel loan, you're going to get a refi or a home purchase that is not going to charge you fees to go through the process. This makes it a lot more affordable to get that lower monthly rate on your mortgage. It makes it a lot more affordable to get your payment lowered if you want to, 2020 has been a hard year. If you've got a reason to lower that payment a few $100, maybe you can with a lower rate. Maybe you can with a longer term. Maybe you can keep your mortgage rate where it is right now, or keep your mortgage payment where it is right now and shorten the term. Shave years off the length of your loan. That's going to save you a boatload money in interest payments. 314-324-4440. Call Stewie. He's my friend. He helped me a year ago, and I know he can do the same for you. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
An unprecedented year like 2020 calls for an unprecedented holiday offer from Diamonds Direct. So, for the first time ever during December, we're allowing 4 years zero interest financing on anything and everything. It's our way of helping you make her holiday one to remember. Just pick any beautiful piece of jewelry, take the price, divide by 48, and that's your payment. A $4,000 pair of diamond stud earrings is just $84 a month. And we have the gifts women love. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstones, all new fashion jewelry from top designers. And of course, the largest selection of engagement rings and certified diamonds in the country. After all she's been through in 2020, now's the perfect time to let her know how much you love her. Reward her with a gift that is romantic, timeless, and symbolic. And with 48 months zero interest financing, you can afford to splurge. Diamonds Direct, helping you make that magical moment this holiday season. Shop online at diamondsdirect.com or in person in our showroom. Diamonds Direct.
Olive and 270 at City Place.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
It's challenging anytime a child's hospitalized over the holidays, maybe now more than ever. Mark Cox here. Your gifts to SSM Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital provide hope, healing, and comfort to all these patients, regardless of their ability to pay. Your donations to the Tree of Hope support the Children's Fund. The money might help with resources to keep the kids from falling behind in school or for the latest clinical studies that might otherwise be unavailable here. Join me in 971 FM Talk and give a gift of hope at glennon.org.
If it's happening here. In the world, the country, and the community. St. Louis's own 97.1 FM Talk.
Connection is made.
Once there was this kid who got into an accident and couldn't come to school, but
No, Katie, I'm gonna let this play for a second. Crash Test Dummies. Ryan, is it just me? But every time you hear this song, you immediately start trying to compete with that guy's bass voice.
No, I don't, because I know I can't. But I do every time I hear that song. I can't think of anything other than Dumb and Dumber.
You see, I think of Weird Al Yankovic's parody of that. Is what I think of.
Yep. That's right. Well, that song played prominently in Dumb and Dumber, if you recall.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
I just can't believe it's a real band. But
the Crash Test.
They
actually. I actually had this album in college. This came out in the early 90s, like really early 90s. I was in college, and I bought the tape. The cassette, and they had some actually pretty decent songs on there. There was one that was really kind of funny called like Afternoons and Coffee Spoons or something like that.
We play that.
Yeah,
one. Yep.
I
remember that.
Yeah, that was a pretty good song out there as well. Of course, I mean, I always gravitate back to The Rock, but it was good stuff. I'm Mike Ferguson, by the way, in for Andy Frey. Okay, so before I get into this other thing here, I was driving in a little bit ago for the show, and I'm the guy who forgot to pull the trash cans back up in the front of my house yesterday, so I got to do that. But there's 2 envelopes sticking out of the trash and the recycling bin, and I'm thinking, oh crap, somebody's probably writing me a nasty gram to pull your cans back up to the house. But no, they were actually 2 holiday cards, greeting cards from the trash collector Daryl and the
cool.
recycling collector Christopher.
So sweet.
Yeah, so that was a surprise. Literally a holiday card from these guys. I live in Richmond Heights, and so Daryl, Christopher, thank you. That was really cool. I've never received a holiday card from somebody who collects the trash and the recycling.
Do you guys send out holiday cards every year?
We send a small amount out. That used to be like a big thing.
I love it.
Yeah. See, like for instance, when before, years and years and years ago, before Rachel and I ever met, it was just me and my 2 kids. And we would make a big production out of it. We'd buy, go to the dollar store and buy the Christmas cards, like 3 or 4 of them. And, of course, the church we were at had this long, here's the list of all the members in the church. And so we would just pass it from one to the other while having, snacks or something. We'd all sign it, and then we'd give out 50, 60 of these things.
Jeez.
And the last couple of years, I just haven't done a lot. Rachel and I will send out a few to some close friends, but and we've noticed that the number of cards we get is going down as well. So I just don't know that cards are that much of a thing anymore, but it sure is nice when you do get them. That was
it is like the most special and significant thing. We talked about this during COVID. Well, we're still during COVID. What am I talking about? I meant
COVID's over.
Earlier.
Yay.
No, that's not true, people. Earlier, whenever COVID first began, I think, Ryan, I told you and Annie this, I wrote a letter to a friend because you couldn't see one another. So I wrote her a letter, and she's in Kansas City anyway. But there is something so special about getting a letter and writing a letter and just like putting the stamp on it, putting it in the mailbox. Yeah. I love the process. And if I can open up anything that is not a bill, it is a good day. I'm like,
junk mail.
Or junk mail.
And if you're watching us on Facebook on the cameras, I'm putting the cards kind of up in front of the camera so you can see them. So thanks guys for that. But yeah, getting that thing physically in the mail, that is kind of how it's funny how we kind of go back to the old school stuff, getting a letter in the mail and, with a stamp or a card. You get excited about that, even though it's, relatively not that big of a deal, but it's just kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you send Christmas cards, Katie?
I did. We didn't last year, but yes, before last year we did. Yeah.
You're one of the few, because I really don't think as many, just like Mike said, we used to get a handful or a dozen or so in the mail the last, 5 years ago even. And the last few, I think social media has killed them.
Yeah.
And it's because not only do you already know kind of what's going on with anybody that you want to know, you know what's going on with all kinds of people that you have absolutely zero interest in knowing what's going on in their lives. So getting the Christmas card is almost redundant at this point because we got so many pictures and information everywhere.
That's so
well.
true.
And here's another thing, and it also is the thought process and the effort that went into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like years ago, and maybe I'm just weird and grinchy about this or whatever. I don't display my birthday on my Facebook profile. I don't do that. Here's why. Because when I see somebody else's birthday pops up, and every day there's somebody's birthday, and you click on it, you see 200 posts that just say HBD Joe, HBD Sally, and that's all it is. And I'm thinking, okay, first of all, I don't want my timeline just flooded with HBD. And secondly, if that's all the effort you're going to put into it, be reminded by Facebook, type HBD, enter. Then don't bother. You're just cluttering my Facebook up. And it's not that I don't appreciate that little bit of effort, but I don't appreciate that little bit of effort.
Sure. Okay. Judgment call then.
Yes.
Because today was my pastor's wife's birthday. Obviously somebody I know, somebody I'm not terribly close with though. I decided to write on her wall today, but I put HB Day !
Oh, you're
is that
even
enough?
worse.
No, that's not enough.
It's even
Now,
worse.
see, if you were going to tell me that you went on her wall and said, happy birthday, whatever her name is, I really appreciate the ministry that you and your husband do for our church. Thank you for all you do. Happy birthday, Ryan. Then I'd say, yeah, you did it. That's perfect. That's great. But the whole HBD click.
Why don't you just write happy birthday, Ryan?
I don't
Why
know.
don't
I was
you
trying
just
to
write that out?
be unique. Instead of just being HBD, I'm like HB Day. How about that? Gave you a couple extra letters and an exclamation point. Let you know I mean it. Here's a tip. I'm going to give this one away. This is one of my favorite things to do for people's birthday is find somebody else on their timeline who's written something that is pretty personal, like, oh my gosh, it's been 4 years since we were in Cancun. I can't believe it. And just copy paste that as your
You're the only person that can get away with that because that is your sense of humor, Ryan. You are the only person I could think of that would be like, this is going to happen.
I'm thinking of all the ways that could go wrong with a guy copying and pasting that or a woman copying and pasting that as well for so many people. And I'm intrigued and I want to see that someday.
Well, I'll do it for your birthday next year.
That is something, this is totally like millennial stuff.
Yeah.
Like this has millennials that are in their 20s. We are all into the happy birthday posts. I mean, all out. I go all out for my friends. I'm making picture collages. I'm recreating a memory that we had. I am like writing a 5-paragraph essay on your Facebook page.
See, and that I think is great. It's not that it's on Facebook. It's that there's so little effort being made on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
you can tell though that there are some people who do it as kind of a marketing technique. Have you noticed this? That if you have friends who have independent businesses or they're looking for clients or they run one of those like pyramid schemey type multi-level marketing things, that they will post on everybody's birthday, happy birthday, something somewhat.
Go check out my sale.
Yeah, I mean, they don't necessarily like hard sell you, but they're just, you can tell that they took a class and it said, hey, remember to put happy birthday on everybody's page because they love it and it'll remind them of you.
Right. Yeah.
I guess I'm alone in that.
Not a bad strategy.
It probably works for a lot of people.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, but yeah, and the millennials though, and I know we got to get to break so we can talk to Tim here. I got a lesson in how weird y'all can kind of be when it comes to like texting and social media. My daughter texted me I think it was last week, and I was on the air on another station on the regular show I do somewhere else, and she called, and I just texted back, or I just let it go to voicemail, and she goes, "Oh, are you on the air?" And I texted back, "Yes," period, and to send text. She gets home. She goes, "Are you mad at me?"
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Are you mad at me?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" These were her words. "You put a period after yes. Are you mad at me?" And I'm like, "What in the world are you talking? You're nodding knowingly about this."
I 100% understand where your daughter is coming from, but I have had to adapt because I work with Ryan, who is a one-word period person, and Annie is a one-word period person. So I know it is definitely like the 20-something-year-old millennials that are like, it must be an exclamation point. There's got to be more than one word. And if it's anything less than that, I feel like you're really mad at me.
Well, she was trying to tell me that because I put a period at the end of a one-word sentence,
yes,
that shows that I'm angry at her. And I looked at her like she has 3 eyeballs. I had no idea what she was talking about.
Become accustomed to everybody else that isn't a millennial that does stuff like that in order to understand.
And I'm not old enough to start being the curmudgeon who says these darn kids, but I'm like tempted to go there just out of choice.
I get it.
So all the punctuation means different things. So yes, exclamation point is like, yeah, everything's good.
Yes.
Yes, period is like yes.
Yeah, it's
But
like
I don't know.
I'm too busy to give you a full response. So this is
What about yes with no punctuation at all?
same as punctuation. It's same
Is
as a
it
period.
really?
Same thing. It's just
Okay.
like
See,
it's
I would not have
off-putting.
guessed that.
It's off-putting.
I was told that it was the period that made it the symbolism, which I don't know.
Yeah, that surprises me. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Thanks for the info.
I'm pretty sure Tim Jones puts periods at the end of his sentences, so we're going to talk to him,
He's an
but
angry
not
guy.
about that.
Yeah.
Just ahead here on the Annie Frey Show.
There was this boy whose parents made him come direct.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Furnace tune-ups are recommended each year to keep your heating system running efficiently and extend its life. Schedule your furnace tune-up and safety inspection and get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Regardless of where you're at in life, a college degree is more than a piece of paper, more than a line on a resume. It should take you further than just your next job. Missouri Baptist University takes you places other online programs can't because MBU opens minds and hearts as well as doors. With 15 online bachelor's and graduate degree programs, MBU offers progressive, faith-based education that meets the highest standards and the demands of your busy schedule. At MBU, you'll do more than work that checks the boxes. You'll hone your thinking and leadership skills and develop the kind of work ethic employers want and entrepreneurial success demands. Are you ready for something more? Find your light at Missouri Baptist University. Visit mobap.edu and shine on.
Find your light in 2021 through Missouri Baptist University. Missouri Baptist University is now waiving standardized tests for spring and fall 2021 admission. Online undergraduate and graduate programs begin January 11th. Learn more at mobap.edu and shine on.
Guys, 2020 has been a rough year on everyone, and that includes your wife or girlfriend. So spoil her this Christmas by treating her to some rest and relaxation with the world's softest pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts for nearly 20 years. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. They're silky smooth on the outside, soft like a baby bunny on the inside, to wrap her in warmth and comfort all winter long. Just the ticket for melting away her stress and helping her to relax and restore after a long day and year. And right now, when you order today, you'll get a great deal. Free gift packaging. That means you don't have to wrap a thing. Get her the world's softest pajamas and get your free gift packaging today before this deal disappears. Just go to pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's pajamagram.com.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Boardroom, Out of Office Podcasts. My name is Rich Kleiman, and I'm the co-founder of 35 Ventures, alongside my business partner, KD. This show is all about the stories, the successes, and the struggles that have driven my favorite entrepreneurs in sports, business, entertainment, and technology. We're going to be talking to industry leaders about who they are, how they got here, and the things they've learned along the way that you might not expect. So subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts, radio.com, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Mark Cox here. Guys, let Victory Men's Health help you regain your vitality by optimizing your hormones, vitamins, and sexual health. Victory Men's Health has the most cutting-edge technologies to treat ED. They have wave therapy. Listen, this is the biggest advancement for men with ED since the launch of Viagra. That's pretty incredible. They do the treatments in their office. Victory Men's Health offers wave therapy in both their Illinois and Missouri location. Check them out online today at victorymenshealth.com.
The Tim Jones Show.
Chris Markowski. You only have one life, and you have to go out and you have to live it. If you're someone that is at risk and needs to be taking precautions, God bless you, go do it.
Tim Jones, Sunday nights at 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Okay, it's getting real for a lot of people. Livelihoods at stake. Going back to the situation in St. Louis County in particular. What's interesting is St. Louis City. I was reading this morning. Their health department is saying, yeah, we just don't have data that justifies, killing off businesses right now and shutting them down, which really, man, is Lyda Crewson getting kind of a little bit softer in her lame duck stage of her political career or what? But Sam Page continuing to go after, and he targeted the restaurants with the big show of the cops and the health inspectors. He targeted the ones that publicly said, no, we will not let you kill our businesses. I wonder who's got a really good perspective on that. Joining us right now is a good friend, Tim Jones.
Another great night for Donald Trump.
No collusion, no obstruction.
This is Armageddon.
I brought you Outlander.
Brought to you by Arrowhead Building Supply.
So, Tim, we've got at least one of the restaurants that pushed back hard, and by the way, got a lot of support from people here in St. Louis. I say here because I live in St. Louis County. In St. Louis County, they gave in. They kind of cried uncle. They're not going to keep pushing back after Sam Page sent in the troopers to shut them down. But some other restaurants are still fighting this. I have a lot of respect for those restaurants that just keep pushing back, even after, of course, Sam Page is saying the vote by the city or the county council rather to say we have to approve these restrictions. He says, well, that's just illegitimate. So this guy's just out of control.
Yeah, Mike, he truly is. Thanks for having me this afternoon. If you want to follow the guy who's at the tip of the spear on this, who's leading the Braveheart-esque freedom fighters right into the battle with the blue face paint, that's Ben Brown of Satchmo's Bar and Grill. And if you want to find out exactly what's going on with the litigation that's pending, that the 40-plus family-owned restaurants, mainly in the St. Louis region, have filed. If you want to find out how to help these restaurants, support them if you can financially or with your help online and support, and go to whatever events they got coming up next. He's at Ben Brown Tweets, on Twitter. And he's got lots of great information up there. He really does an excellent job on Twitter with getting a lot of factual information out, something that, Mike, as you point out, Sam Page has not had on his side. He has not had the facts, the data, or the science. And yeah, how about Mayor Lyda Crewson getting a little Maggie Thatcher-esque in her late in her term here, standing up against the left-wing liberal horde. Mike, we've talked so many times about the comparisons you can make here. First of all, what a bad look for Sam Page to be sent. And I feel so bad for the police officers who, I'll bet you get them off the clock, or if they could tell you what they really think, I'll bet a lot of the fine men and women of the St. Louis County Police Force are really upset that they're having to take orders from this dictator in his white coat. Him and his people were asked point blank last week at a press conference or some type of open hearing about the decision to lock the restaurants down again. They were asked on what data and science are you shutting down the restaurants while you're not shutting down other businesses? And Dr. Garza and Sam Page had zero answers to that question because, Mike, no answers exist. There is absolutely no evidence that I have found anywhere. You look at the World Health Organization, even Dr. Fauci, although he's such a flip-flopper, maybe he's changed his mind at this point. They've said lockdowns should be of the last resort. And you know what answer they've given, which honestly surprised me? They gave the economic devastation answer. And they said that the healthcare concerns simply don't outweigh that. And there's very little evidence. Just like with the schools, Mike, how long did our school kids have to suffer through the liberal lunacy of having the schools shut down because Donald Trump said back in July, I'm really thinking that based on what I'm seeing, the data and the science show that kids need to go back in school. Well, there was an immediate reflex reaction by the education establishment and the liberal left and their mouthpieces in the national media to push back against that for no reason other than Donald Trump said it. And now here we are. We've lost 4 or 5 months of schooling, hundreds, if not thousands of hours of instruction and education. Our kids are so far behind. What about the kids who need the most help? They're getting the most left behind. The smart kids, like my daughters, I'm sure your kids, Mike, they've got caring and loving parents to keep them on track. We've got all the resources we need. We're so very blessed. And they're doing okay. They're not doing as okay as they would have been if they'd been in school. But they're going to get through this. But what about the kids who need that daily instruction? What about the kids who need the daily lunch programs, right? I mean, this is harming kids. This is harming their health. Despite what liberals might think, the cure for this, shutting down the school and shutting down the small businesses like the bar and grills, is much worse than the virus. And Mike, last point on that point about the restaurants, I couldn't believe it. Did you see the huge rally in New York City in favor of a bold, brave freedom fighter up there? Even New Yorkers have had it. On Staten Island, New York, they just elected a Republican Greek-American Congresswoman, Hope Springs Eternal, even up on the East Coast, for the spirit of freedom and liberty.
Okay. Hey, Tim, we are going to actually give you a call because your signal's breaking up a little bit. So we're going to come right back to you, Tim, on that, just because we got a connection issue here. So hang on a second. Your phone's about to ring. So we're going to continue this on the phone as well. And the thing that I want to also know, maybe we get Tim back here, Ryan, is there were 5 restaurants that were shut down. 4 of them, I think are still going to fight. but I don't know if they're still open. Like Satchmo's, they made the big show out of shutting down Satchmo's. There's video of it and everything. I wonder if Satchmo's is still out there saying, no, we're still going to serve food and drinks if somebody wants it at this point.
Yeah, I know that a couple of bars have backed down.
Yeah,
just because I think they run out of money. I mean, you can't fight this stuff forever because it costs money to do so.
Right.
But let me ask you this, Mike. Lyda Crewson, we talked about her kind of, maybe seeing the light or something, and saying, well, I don't really have the authority to keep shutting these things down. She's a lame duck, but she's not necessarily up in January, is she?
Well,
she's still around for a little while longer.
Yeah, I think the election is, I don't know if it's April, but she doesn't have that much time left in her term. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Sorry. Yeah. Now we got Tim Jones back on the line here, and Tim, we're just talking about, some of the restaurants have backed down, and it just seems to me that this was more about Sam Page saying, I'm reminding you who's in charge. I don't think the COVID-19 data means a darn thing right now. I think it's more about, I will not let people question or show me up. I'm cracking down because I'm the boss. I'm the politician. I'm the ruler.
Yeah, Mike, you can really see the difference between folks on the center right side of the aisle versus the center left side of the aisle in their philosophy and what they think about people's constitutional rights and what they think about the future of their county, their state, the country as a whole. When you look at the different tactics that the leaders have taken, and the leaders on the center right side of the large, for the most part, and I'll use Governor DeSantis of Florida as my primary example of, I think, the best governor in the entire country on this right now. He has looked to try to balance the healthcare concerns with trying to keep the people in his state employed, help them try to keep food on their tables and lights on in their homes. And let me tell you, when you look at the data here, his approach is just as valid, if not more so, than anything that these lockdown lunatics keep doing. And I'll point to the fact, let's make a comparison. Hate to do this to poor Annie Frey, but I got to use the once great state of Illinois as my Illinois has less population than the state of Florida, but they are experiencing dramatic deaths in hospitalizations and death rate and a higher mortality rate than Florida. Florida has 25 million people, right? I think 1.7 times more population than Illinois, but their case count, their hospitalization rate, their ICU usage, and their overall mortality and death rate is much lower than Illinois. So you tell me whose approach is better protecting health.
All right, that's Missouri former Speaker of the House, Tim Jones. You can hear him every Sunday right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And Tim, we just got it. The gremlins are out for you, man. So the connection is bad. So you can find him at Speaker Tim Jones on Twitter, and you can find him at Speaker Tim Jones on Parler. So I don't know if Tim can still hear me, but thank you so much, Tim, for the time. But we're just we're hearing about every other word that you're saying right now. So we will catch up with you again next week as well. And Ryan, to the point that Tim was making, and there's kind of a debate going on right now on the Facebook page as well. And the argument is over, well, do you still have the rights? Do you still have your rights if somebody else is scared, or if you're exercising your rights, meaning somebody else could get sick? I would argue, yeah, you still have those rights. But in this case right here, you're looking at St. Louis. I mean, look what happened in St. Charles. Those restaurants are doing really, really well up there, and they're not doing any worse than St. Louis County is in a lot of ways. So maybe the business owners in St. Louis City are like, hey, Lyda, boy, if they're going to crack down and lock down people there, we'd love to sell them some burgers and some drinks and some pizza and some steaks over here. Let us get some of that business. That wouldn't surprise me after they've been hurting for so long.
Yeah, I hope that happens. I mean, I really feel bad about, well, St. Louis specifically, because that's where we are, but downtown and cities across the country, they've been under the hardest thumb, and they're the tightest packed. So, they're going to have more cases because they just have more people on top of each other. But they also have experienced the worst economically from everything that's gone on, not just COVID, but we've shut down businesses because of COVID, but then that's where violence has happened over the summer. That's where the epicenter of everything that's been happening has been against cities. And you got to feel bad a lot of people have fled. That's why you see
Yeah.
real estate prices so high in the suburbs right now. But you got to feel bad for people who haven't or don't have the means to leave if they want to.
Here's just a factoid that'll probably surprise a lot of people. Now, I'm just talking about the city of St. Louis. I'm not talking about the region. I'm not talking about the county. The actual city proper, the population of St. Louis City is now less than that of Wichita, Kansas.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Because I know Wichita pretty well, and it's a nice city, but it's not a big one.
No.
Do you think that we're going to see more and more business owners retaliate with these COVID restrictions, and then we'll see more people coming out on the street saying, like, yeah, we agree with the business owners and this needs to stop, and that will change anything?
I think yes, and I think it could change something on this. I mean, this is what's fascinating to me is, like I said a few minutes ago when Tim was on with us, is that I don't think that the crackdown, with Sam Page sending in the health inspectors and the police to do this, I don't think that was about COVID. I think that was about, you will not question me. You will not push back. I think that was about using a show of force. And what's happening is, and we just saw the video on Fox News, we've got up in the studio here, thousands of people surround that bar and grill that we just talked about a little bit ago, Ryan, because of the way they're treating people. I think this is about control more. I think it stopped being about just COVID a long time ago. And you've got the politicians saying, we need to remind these people who's in charge. And you've got the people saying, we need to remind these people who's in charge.
Yeah. Well, you're saying the part that everybody's worried about, because that's people are all concerned about the health aspect. We're all taking it seriously. There are only about half of us who are really concerned about government overreach and what this looks like beyond what the rights that they have beyond COVID times.
Yeah, exactly. Mary, you got thoughts on this? 314-241-9797. We are going to the news here in just a minute, but I know this, and this is where it's not just about should there be lockdowns or should there not be lockdowns. It's at what point does, and I understand courts are going to sort out some of this, but these businesses are in survival modes.
Yeah.
And some people have said, well, what's so special about restaurants? Other businesses are hurting too. Well, the restaurants are pushing back. They're fighting back. And that's why my hat's kind of off to them. There are retail shops that are hurting. I'm sure there are places where you get your haircut that's hurting. Candle shops, they're hurting, but they don't have the resources to really push back against this. And I think all these protests that we're seeing, and I think what we're seeing in St. Louis County is people saying, no, tell me which one is defying Sam Page. And I'm going to go there on purpose and eat. And remember when Sam Page ordered his, because technically St. Louis County is under a stay-at-home order. Screw that. I'm going to go where I want, when I want, for any reason that I want, any time that I want. Sam Page, come get me. That's where we're at. It's you have to keep in mind the place that government needs to be pushed back into, not just even in a pandemic, especially in a pandemic. At least that's my take on it. Yeah. All right, get your thoughts still just ahead. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey on 97.1 FM Talk.
You got me tripping, stumbling, fumbling.
I started gymnastics when I was 5. I had my first knee surgery when I was 10. I had 2 more knee surgeries when I was 13. And I had another when I was 14. I had lost hope. Then I had surgery at Mizzou BioJoint Center.
To see if MU Healthcare's Mizzou BioJoint Center is right for you, visit biojoint.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure is just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of ENT and Sleep Medicine Associates called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with ENT and Sleep Medicine Associates. Call 618-206-5935. 618-206-5935. That's 618-206-5935.
Ugly.
boring, embarrassing. If this describes any of your bathrooms, you're in luck. Right now, Mosby Building Arts is offering 10% off semi-custom bathrooms or no payments, no interest for 12 months. With Mosby, you'll soon be enjoying an updated bathroom that could only be described as perfect. Call Mosby at 314-909-1800 or visit callmosby.com before December 15th to take advantage of these savings. Mosby Building Arts. Home never felt so good.
Annie here for Stewart's American Mortgage. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to be assessing a 0.5% fee on all conventional refis closing on or after December. You need to start the process with Stewart's American Mortgage right away. Stewie is closing loans in 2 to 3 weeks, but you don't have to wait. The bagel loan is back with a vengeance. Interest rates at historic lows, and a lot of people are taking cash out refinances while interest rates are so good. They can offer cash down with no contingency on new purchase. You can take advantage by calling today, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. The bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage will literally save you thousands of dollars when you purchase a home. And if you owe more than $250,000 on your home and your interest rate is currently in the 4s, call Stewie today for the bagel loan. You're going to get a lower monthly payment or keep your payment and shave months or even years off the length of your loan. Google the bagel loan or call his personal cell, 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, NMLS number 2267.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
Tapping the brakes on a COVID vaccine. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A day after Britain was first to approve Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine, Dr. Anthony Fauci is suggesting British scientists should have taken more time to scrutinize the company's data. The FDA holds a hearing next week on Pfizer's candidate and has faced public criticism from some health officials for not acting more quickly on it. Congress facing similar questions for months about another COVID relief bill.
We will not leave Washington until we get this done. That's our position. We're not going anywhere.
New Jersey Democratic Congressman Josh Gottheimer is part of the bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus, which is hoping a $900 billion plan can help bridge the gap between House Democrats and Senate Republicans. Today, the House Speaker, Senate Majority Leader, and President Trump all signaling they want something to get done. But in the meantime, many businesses are struggling with renewed restrictions, and the LA mayor is telling residents to cancel everything and stay home.
No walking with others, no bicycling, no hanging out with anyone outside your immediate family.
Fox's William Lajeunesse.
California already has a mask mandate, no indoor or outdoor dining, no high school sports, a 10 o'clock curfew for all non-essential businesses, and retail caps with as few as 2 customers per store. Yet many expect Governor Gavin Newsom to impose a new stay-at-home order for all non-essential workers, like no going to work back in March, and that would be past New Year's Day.
Record hospitalizations, a driving factor around the country. The Justice Department is suing Facebook, accusing the company of discriminating against U.S. workers by giving hiring preferences to temporary workers who hold H-1B visas to work in the U.S. for skilled positions. Facebook is disputing the lawsuit allegations and says it has been cooperating with a Justice Department review. America is listening to Fox News.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers, that's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 40% off a new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 40% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 40% off and a free camera today.
Dell Technologies has announced their Cyber Monday sale. They're releasing new doorbusters every weekday, plus up to 50% off cutting-edge tech for your business. There's no better time to upgrade your small business with the latest laptops and desktops with Intel Core processors, plus there's free shipping on everything. Yes, everything. Give Dell Technologies advisors a call. They'll identify the right tech solution for your business. Call 877-ASK-DELL or go to Dell.com/SP Cyber Monday. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Any light moisture of rain and snow out of the picture now, or at least it's just about out of the picture. Otherwise, it's just a cloudy afternoon and it's kind of cold, 42, 43 for most of us. Clouds this evening, Turning partly cloudy, late night 29. Friday, partly sunny, 48. Saturday and Sunday, partly to mostly sunny skies, 45 on Saturday, 42 on Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a right fit for you. And check out the podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane.
If you are looking for a home warranty, please check out my friends at Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. You know, that maintenance part of their title is extremely important. Most home warranty companies out there want to deny your claim due to lack of maintenance. They claim you haven't been taking care of your equipment over time, so they don't have to help you out. Well, at Upkeep, they completely eliminate that worry by sending their own technicians out to your home 4 times a year to do the general maintenance for you. And if you ever need service done, they will either repair or replace your equipment, and that work is also being done by an Upkeep employee. It's not a third-party contractor trying to upsell you. Their plans are extremely affordable. You can even divide your payments up over the 12 months of the year. And when you use code DGS, you get $100 off your service. To check out all of their different home warranty plans, go to their website, upkeepstl.com. That's upkeepstl.com.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Boardroom, Out of Office Podcasts. My name is Rich Kleiman, and I'm the co-founder of 35 Ventures, alongside my business partner, KD. This show is all about the stories, the successes, and the struggles that have driven my favorite entrepreneurs in sports, business, entertainment, and technology. We're going to be talking to industry leaders about who they are, how they got here, and the things they've learned along the way that you might not expect. So subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts, radio.com, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com is very aware of the craziness of the times right now. And of course, a lot of places are kind of pulling back and closing up a little bit. But that doesn't mean if your furnace goes out and it's cold outside that you are going to sit there and shiver and have your teeth chatter in the freezing cold. You're going to need somebody who's going to be able to come in and take care of your furnace needs, but they need to be able to respect the situation that's going on. And Corey Malone has been ensuring that top to bottom, you are at the center of this process, and he is going to do everything he can to make sure that he can get your furnace up and running, but do so in a very safe and respectable way. He's working hard to protect you and his employees, and it really very much shows. Everyone has been adjusting to the new normal. Corey Malone and the team at Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling want you to know that they're here for you. And if you need somebody to tune up your furnace, to check it out, to maybe even replace it, 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
Imagine 2 identical homes on the same street that sold in the same week for $400,000. One seller used a realtor who charged 7%. The other listed with Straight Realty for only 4%, saving $12,000. Hi, my name is Christina Straight with Straight Realty. Don't be fooled by high commissions. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. 314-441 all fours.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
You can ask your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk for information with perspective. Although you don't have to say all the tagline stuff. Just say, play 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I mentioned this last hour. We never quite got to it. the federal government or a federal government alphabet soup bureaucracy is actually getting something right. That should be newsworthy in and of itself.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. By the way, it's 2:08. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Andy Frey. Less than an hour, you're going to have the DGS in here coming at you. No, the Department of Transportation announced this week that they're changing the rules when it comes to emotional support animals. Now, that's important. It does not affect documented service animals. But how many times have you seen the pictures of somebody claiming that any animal is an emotional support animal? And they basically, the airlines and every other transportation, and frankly, a lot of businesses, restaurants and whatnot, they're just like, well, I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to get sued for trying to, push back on this. But now the Department of Transportation has said, no, this is out of hand. This is just crazy.
Good for them.
Yeah. So here's what's going on. They have what's called the Air Carrier Access Act that defines a service animal basically as a dog that is specifically trained and basically certified. Because I remember a few years back when I was working, I was working for the Show Me Institute at the time, and my staff said, hey, we want to go out to lunch. You want to go? Great. We went to Central West End, one of those Thai restaurants. I forgot the name of it. It was really good, but there was a woman at the table like right next to ours, and she had her dog and it had a vest on it. It looked official, and I just assumed it was a service animal. Well, it was her emotional support dog in the restaurant, and this thing was no better trained than my kids were when they were toddlers.
Oh.
I mean, this thing was like, it went as far as the leash would allow. It kept standing up on its back legs, begging for food. And when the dog's owner wouldn't give it, it came over towards our table, was trying to,
Oh, wow.
and I'm thinking, but the restaurant is just being told you can't deny a service animal. And so they're making a difference between emotional support animal and service animal, because we've seen the pictures. People, post them online and stuff. There was a guy I saw who claimed his boa constrictor was a support animal, and he demanded to be left alone at a restaurant with it, and just all these crazy things that you see.
It's just so crazy that this is the way that society is progressing. It's like, okay, bring anything that you would like anywhere that you want to go.
Right.
And because you feel, and there is nothing wrong at all. I've flown many times with emotional support dogs on the plane with me. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Cool with that. But the minute that you advance that and say, okay, now I'm going to bring my lion in the cage. It's in the cage, but it's fine next to me on the airplane or in the restaurant. It's just like we've gotten really out of hand.
And there were college students. I don't know if you've seen these, Ryan, where college students said, this is my emotional support animal. They just bring their pet, or they bring some weird animal in and demand to be able to have them in the dorm and not be charged a bunch extra because that's their emotional support animal. Mm-hmm. And this is where everybody's starting to go, no, stop.
I mean, I don't blame if you just wanted to have a dog and been like, how do I get around the rules? It's a more
easy enough.
Animal.
That's how you do it. So
I mean, this is kind of mankind, isn't it? Like, you give somebody an inch and they're going to take a mile. They're going to exploit whatever rule that you have if they can use it to their benefit. I actually have a story about this too. I have a rental house, and we had a girl that was going to move in there, and she ended up not, but then she wanted to stay at her place. And the reason she wanted to get out of her current place is because she had a dog, and they told her, no, you can't have a dog in our property. You know that. You signed the lease. And she was saying, but it's an emotional support dog. And everybody knew that was total bull, but she might have gotten away with it.
And it was not an emotional support bull. It was just the bull. Yeah. The airlines, I'm looking at USA Today's story on this, but they're also saying what's happening is people are just bringing their pets, cats, rabbits, birds, claiming it's just an emotional support animal in order to not pay the fee to have the animal being on the flight.
And we've created the loophole.
Yes.
We've created the loopholes in order for that to happen.
Jeez. All right, let's go to the phone lines here. Hey, Paul, thanks for calling in. You're on the air.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Doing well. What's on your mind?
Oh, just another day in the circus they call the restaurant business right now.
Oh, yeah. You guys are are you in St. Louis County?
Yes, sir. We have 3 locations, one in Town and Country, one in Kirkwood, one in Richmond Heights.
Oh, well, then you're near me. I'm in Richmond Heights. Yeah. So,
right on.
Yeah. Are you one of those that's involved in the lawsuit, or are you just trying to ride this thing out?
Yes to both. Obviously, it's it's no coincidence that, where businesses in, St. Charles and Jefferson County are just killing it right now.
Yeah, I just actually looked at the note on the screen. I actually am one of your customers. You guys have some of the best fried mushrooms I've ever had.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to think that you can't go in and, sit at the bar and anything at restaurants, but you can go in and stand in a crowded Walmart for half an hour. I mean, that just drives me crazy.
Yeah. Are you all shut down then right now? I mean, I don't know if you want to say what your restaurant is or not. I'll leave that up to you, but are you, I mean, how is this going to play out for you? I mean, if Sam Page gets his way and you have to stay shut down for months, I mean, am I going to be able to still get my fried mushrooms from you?
I mean, I hope so. We're, obviously no indoor dining. We're still doing the delivery and carry out, but I mean, that's 10% of our business. I mean, I don't think anybody can really survive on 10% of their income. And, we did get the PPP stuff, but that was just kind of a Band-Aid. And, I mean, it just seems like, they did the whole shutdown back in, March and April with the restrictions and this and that. And, those have been in place since then, and it doesn't really seem like much has changed.
Hey, Paul, when you see that, for instance, at Satchmo's and some of these others where Page sent in the health inspectors and the cops, and they made a big show of, showing who's in charge, what kind of message does that send to you as a business manager and a businessman in this county?
Yeah, I mean, you're walking the line between, you have a business to run, you're trying to provide, not only for yourself, but, we have employees who, depend on, coming into work for income. And then, we're trying to make a living. And then, you got this guy kind of basically, puffing out his chest and, saying, you can't mess with him and sending in the health department. I mean, the bill that Andrew Koenig filed the other day, obviously we were hoping for that. And also, limiting the health department's, power, because they can come in and take away your business license, and that's a pain in the what to get back.
Hey, Mike.
So it seems
go ahead.
Good.
Well, let me ask you a question. With all these things that you're fighting right now, I'm sure you've had tremendous amount of support from a lot of people. But my question is, socially speaking, have you had people like shaming you for trying to stay open?
Yes.
Really?
And I think, obviously, we want everybody to be healthy. We don't want anybody to get sick. You hate, waking up in the morning and seeing, people are dying from this, and it's a real thing. But at the end of the day, that the people who are doing that aren't people who own their own business.
Right.
Yeah. They're people who come from professions that haven't really been as severely impacted by this. And obviously, we don't wake up in the morning and say, hey, we want everybody to come in and get this thing and whatnot, because, that'd be terrible. But,
yeah, Paul,
we have gotten some backlash.
Yeah, Paul, it's almost like it's not a good business move to put people at risk. And so I know you're taking precautions as though people would think that you would not, because that's what's important right now. And that's the thing that I saw is I don't think Sam Page was sending a message to me or anybody else that he's protecting us. I think it was sending a message to you to say, no, we're going to let you go bankrupt if that's what it takes to protect my power.
Right. And ironically enough, this is just kind of me, based on the people I talked to, there were a bunch of restaurants who were running that lawsuit against him, and the health department just seemed to show up to those restaurants on Saturday night. And I don't know about you, but the people who I know who work for St. Louis County, they don't really work past 2:00 in the afternoon on Friday.
Yeah. Huh.
So that just kind of seemed like a, hey, you don't mess with me, I'm in charge type thing.
Hey, quick question, Paul. How many of your workers have you had to lay off who should be working right now and are not working right now?
Not as many as you would think. Obviously, we want as many people to come back as possible. And, there are people who work for us who say they don't feel safe, and obviously I can, support them 100%. And I wouldn't say we had to lay off anybody per se, but, we've had to cut hours, and obviously people aren't making near as much money as they did. So it's almost as if they did get laid off because, like I said, I mean, they're depending on us, to bring people in so that they can make money and go home and, pay for their kids, Christmas presents and stuff. So that's, that's that. And then obviously, I have bills to pay. And if Mr. Page wants to shut us down, then, I'm okay with that as long as he's not taking a paycheck.
Yeah. Or, if the government shuts you down, should the government help you provide these bills? Because I suspect your rent and everything else, your tax bills, those are all going to still be there when the property tax comes. Yeah, it's completely unfair to you, Paul. I got to run to a break here, but I have eaten in your establishment many, many times. And so hopefully we can get back to normal and I can get back in there pretty quick.
Yeah, right on. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. That's Paul, one of the, I guess it was either a general manager or manager for some of the, and this was a local restaurant. The note said which restaurant he was at, and it's a pretty popular one. I love that. Love that.
Isn't
place.
it sad that we can't say that the name of the restaurant because it's open?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, and also, I mean, there are other restaurants because I had a black market dinner a few nights ago. I mean, and here's the thing, but there are restaurants that are just saying we're not going to put it out on Facebook. We're not going to do a press release. And believe me, I respect Satchmo's and the other ones that are doing this. And I'm glad somebody's doing it. But there are other restaurants that are saying we're just going to try to keep our head down. Maybe some regulars are going to keep buying stuff so we can kind of keep the lights on. But to me also, and when I heard that this restaurant was staying open. And of course, you're not sitting in the front where the door and the windows are, you're on the other side of the dining room. But I said, just a matter of principle, I'm going to go buy dinner from them. And so I can at least say I did something to defy Sam Page on this.
We're talking about black market.
I know.
Pizzas
Here's the thing that crossed my mind on this is,
cheeseburgers.
Some of the best, action movies out there are the cops like chasing the drug dealers and everything. Are we going to have another round of movies where it's not like Heat and they're going after, with De Niro and Pacino and Val Kilmer? We're gonna have action movies about the cops trying to chase the renegade restaurants that are selling food under the table. I just don't think that's going to be quite as exciting.
I hope we get to that point because that means we've gotten to the point where the people who stayed open are heroes or being depicted as heroes, and we will have come a long way.
Okay, so I've got a funny story right after the break here when it comes to shutting down restaurants that I actually had an experience with. Not the same thing as COVID, but it is an indication of the unintended consequences. You're going to want to hear this. I'll explain it just ahead right here on the Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
One thing was missing that
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service and Environmental Resources. At Hansen's, we manufacture a full line of garden and landscape products that are perfect for your outdoor project. Pick up any of our products at World Outdoor Emporium, Kirkwood Materials, or a Hansen's location near you.
I'm Thomas Helbig, founder of the Retirement Advisory Group. When I meet my clients for the first time, many of them have worked over 90,000 hours and have built up a life savings. Their question is, what can I do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? Not only do we set up a strategy to protect your retirement nest egg from market losses, but we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money. You've earned it, and it's my job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call me now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review, and you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. This book covers everything I teach in my live educational events. Call me now at 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
An unprecedented year like 2020 calls for an unprecedented holiday offer from Diamonds Direct. So, for the first time ever during December, we're allowing 4 years zero-interest financing on anything and everything. It's our way of helping you make her holiday one to remember. Just pick any beautiful piece of jewelry, take the price, divide by 48, and that's your payment. A $4,000 pair of diamond stud earrings is just $84 a month. And we have the gifts women love. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstones, all new fashion jewelry from top designers. And of course, the largest selection of engagement rings and certified diamonds in the country. After all she's been through in 2020, now's the perfect time to let her know how much you love her. Reward her with a gift that is romantic, timeless, and symbolic. And with 48 months zero interest financing, you can afford to splurge. Diamonds Direct, helping you make that magical moment this holiday season. Shop online at diamondsdirect.com or in person in our showroom. Diamonds Direct.
Olive and 270 at City Place.
This is Happy from Hardee's. Listen closely. Do you hear that? That's the sizzling sound of 2 1/3 pound juicy Angus beef patties stacked with 4 strips of bacon on the Monster Angus Thick Burger. You're getting hungry for the bacon. You're driving to the Angus beef. But wait, don't take your eyes off the road for the monster. When I snap my star fingers, you'll pull into the nearest Hardee's and order the Monster Angus Thick Burger. Feed your happy.
Available at participating restaurants. Price and participation may vary.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project. Add extra storage the stylish way with Dakota Closet Systems. Like a 75 by 61-inch Java wooden wardrobe closet featuring easy-to-install pre-cut components. Perfect for bedrooms, entries, and more. Right now, all Dakota Closet Systems and storage solutions are on sale. Save big on everything now at Menards. Price is good through December 13th. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
All the season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic, mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Well, I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body.
Okay, who's sticking around and who's not when it comes to the Cardinals next season? We're going to talk to our good friend Kevin Wheeler about that in just a moment. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey. But I mentioned the experience I had with unintended consequences of going after restaurants. Okay, when before I lived here, I was on a city council of a small town that's not in St. Louis. And we actually had a really popular locally owned restaurant, just like a bar and grill type place. Fantastic burgers. I mean, you could feel your arteries clogging as you ate them. I mean, it was that good.
Yeah.
And they got in trouble with the state. And they didn't pay their taxes to the state. And so that we were notified by the state that we had to yank their permit to operate. And so we didn't really have a choice. That's just, those are the rules. So it was a lesson in unintended consequences, though, because we gave them a notice and we found a way to technically table the vote to give them 2 weeks to get caught up so we wouldn't have to do it. None of us wanted to do that. And they just didn't or couldn't or wouldn't do it. And so we had to pull their permit, their license by state law. Well, within days, we got word that they were selling cheeseburgers and chili dogs out of the back of the building in an alley.
There you go.
We literally created a black market for cheeseburgers in the city.
And what did the council do about that?
We did nothing. All the police officers, it was hilarious because all the police officers were going, hey, you guys need to do a sting operation. Going to take a few months, but I volunteer to go do it. They just wanted to buy the burgers too.
Yep.
You know,
pay us to buy the burgers.
Right. So at that point, we're like, you know what? If the state feels that strongly about it, then they can come in and be the real bad guys. We complied with what the state made us do. But just over that, we literally had a guy in an alley going, want a double cheeseburger with fries?
So depressing.
Okay, you have to confess now. Did you buy any black market food from them?
I actually did not. Because they got sorted out quick enough. But as soon as they opened back up, I went back in. But no, I mean, that's the absurdity. And that's what we're talking about now is literally talking about black market dinners and drinks
Under the table, chili cheese dog.
Katie and I were just talking a second ago, and I mentioned a restaurant that I know of that is very quietly they're open. If you like that restaurant and it's reasonably well known, they're not putting it on social media. They're not making a big stink. But if you go in, you can go. They'll seat you and serve you dinner in violation of Sam Page's orders, and I've already done it there. But I'm not drawing attention to it. But literally, I bought a black market meal. I had black market iced tea. Yeah, I mean that's where we are. You're darn right it does. That's where we are right now in this country. All right, but let's talk about something a little more complicated, but hopefully not as emotional stirring. Kevin Wheeler from our sister station KMOX, and hey, Kevin, good to talk to you. A lot of deals are being made around Major League Baseball right now. I'm saying who's getting extended contracts, who's not getting extended contracts. Are there any possible surprises with the Redbirds?
No, I don't think so at this point. They had, I think, 7 players that they had to make a decision on yesterday, and they did offer contracts to guys like Harrison Bader and Jack Flaherty, Jordan Hicks, Alex Reyes, John Gant. So no surprises there. They did decline to offer contracts to John Brebbia and Rangel Ravelo. And Ravelo, being kind of mostly a AAA depth or bench guy, is not a huge surprise. But Brebbia is not a surprise because he's out with Tommy John surgery, right? He's been really good for the Cardinals in his 3 full seasons with the team from 2017 through 2019. He was excellent, and I know they really like him, and I've seen my friend Derek Dodgers report that the team would like to have him back, but he's going to miss, I would say, likely at least half the season because he had Tommy John in June, and it's basically a 12-month recovery time. So in this kind of time, we're talking about all kinds of businesses saving money, right? I mean, they're probably not all that fond of the idea of paying a relief pitcher to rehab for half the year, especially when the bullpen is probably the deepest and strongest part of their team going into 2021.
Well, Kevin Wheeler, the question's coming. Waino and Yachty, what's the latest?
Not much has changed since the last time we talked about it. Now, since the last time we talked, Waino did an interview with ESPN.com, and he had an interesting kind of sentence in there that said something along the lines of, it'll be interesting to see what the Cardinals offer if they make an offer. And I think that's probably just Waino being somewhat humble and not wanting to act like he's assuming that they're going to make an offer. I'm sure they will. It's just a matter of whether it's good enough for Waino and better than offers that he'll get from somebody else. And the thing that's relatively new on Molina, about a week ago, like 7 days ago, I think it was last Friday, he did an interview in the Dominican Republic where he actually named the teams that have shown interest in him. The Cardinals clearly one of them, and he did say right up front that his preference is to stay with the Cardinals. But he also named the Yankees, the Mets, the Padres, and the Angels as teams that have shown interest. And that's not a normal thing in free agency. You don't very often hear players who are free agents do an interview and name the teams that have shown interest in them. And I'm sure there's a purpose behind that. Think about it, guys. Any one of us that has the ability to apply some leverage to a negotiation is probably going to do it. And that's probably what that is. Although I think I've heard a lot more buzz about the New York teams than anybody else. And, they all make sense to some degree, but the Cardinals still make the most sense for Yachty.
That sounds like the baseball equivalent of, you better pop the question or I'm going to start dating around.
Yeah, I mean, look, and Yachty's not a guy that's going to be shy about what he has to say, right? I mean, he's taken to social media before to talk about various things, both on and off the field. And this is by no means a shot across the bow. I think it's just him. He's honest. When he's doing an interview like that, when he's being interviewed in a comfortable setting, he's pretty straightforward. I mean, he's not really a big BSer. So, if somebody put it to him, and yeah, I think he understands that by doing that, it does probably raise the stakes for the Cardinals a little bit, maybe motivates them, and certainly motivates the fan base to be going, hey, Cardinals, get this done,
Kevin Wheeler, KMOX sports reporter, on the phone with us. Do we know anything about a timeline for this coming season? I keep seeing NHL still saying January 1st, but I haven't heard much out of baseball.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't, the NHL side is a separate story. I mean, that might end up taking some time because right now they're having an argument about how much more money the players need to give back. I mean, the NHL has come back to them, and apparently it was not received very well. So we'll see. But it's been pretty quiet there for about the last week. But we're assuming sometime after the first of the year. We just don't know if it'll be right after the first or maybe a little later in January, depending on how these negotiations go. And with baseball, I don't think they have an idea at all. I mean, part of it is simply going to be like, what are the rules in various places? Like, what are the rules in Arizona? What are the rules in Florida when it's time to report for spring training? You know, are there any restrictions? Do any of these counties have restrictions? Because, I mean, these teams are spread out all over those two. So you have to evaluate that. I mean, they do need to negotiate some things between the players and the owners regarding the rules and whether or not there's going to be any potential, negotiation again over what the players will be paid, what percentage of their salary they'll be paid. So, I think it's still very much up in the air. I have heard nothing that says they're not going to start on time, but we also haven't heard that it's definite that they will. And I think that's just because you don't know. I mean, I think I would think by the early part of January, though, they're going to have to know something along the lines of what they're planning for, because normally spring training is right around Valentine's Day in the middle of February. That's when it starts.
I got a really kind of weird question for you, Kevin, and that has to do with things have broken down between Major League Baseball and minor league baseball in some degree, and Major League Baseball is wanting to trim out and lessen the number of affiliated minor league teams. Well, that's the pipeline to the major leagues, but it's also an important presence in a lot of these medium-sized towns around the country. Are there any talks about adding back some affiliates, or are we going to see maybe a resurgence of independent baseball around the country?
You're probably going to have to see some of that. I mean, they're definitely going to shrink the size of the minor league. And then, there's part of me, like I'm a pretty old school baseball fan. I've been following it for a long time. And I really like, the fact that there are so many opportunities for players, the way the minor leagues have been set up, right? I mean, typically you'll have a AAA, AA, 2 single-A teams, a couple of rookie ball teams, a couple of short season teams, and then you've got teams that play in the Dominican and all that. Like, these teams have a lot of affiliates. I do understand that it's probably time for a makeover. I mean, this is a system that was designed essentially like 30 years ago. And, the baseball scouting and evaluation world has changed. So I understand from the team's perspective, kind of wanting to streamline the process. And that's what they've done. Now, the Cardinals affiliates aren't going to change much. They have ownership stakes in several of them. And because of that, they're going to be able to keep those affiliates. They don't own the Memphis Redbirds, but they do have an ownership stake. But they own the Springfield Cardinals, for example. They own the Peoria team. And, what we're going to see is 2 things. Number one, fewer minor league teams that are affiliated, as you point out, some more independent leagues, but also they're turning some of these former leagues into amateur developmental leagues. So like a pre-draft league for college age players or high school age players. And, those things are not going to carry the same kind of weight as affiliated ball would, but they're trying to make something work that will help those cities, that you're talking about, and especially some of the smaller towns, still have something to draw people out to in the middle of the summer.
Kevin Wheeler, before we run out of time, I want to ask you a Blues question. I've seen a little bit of news just here and there, not big things, but of course the big off-season move was losing Pietrangelo and signing Krug. What does the Blues makeup look like going into this year? Are they projected to be a pretty solid contender again, or are they down a bit?
No, they should be pretty much where they were last year. I mean, Alex Pietrangelo is a better all-around player and a better defensive-minded defenseman than Torrey Krug is. But, Torrey still adds a lot of offense, and he's got a pedigree of being a playoff performer. I mean, his years with Boston, they went deep into the postseason. They won Stanley Cups. So, you will lose some defensive presence in that trade-off, but Colton Parayko is probably going to be the guy that's actually asked to carry those minutes that Pietrangelo logged, where Krug will most likely just be providing some of the offense and helping out on the power play. So they're going to be a little different in that regard, but they should be one of the best teams in the Western Conference again. I mean, barring injuries, you still have Jordan Binnington in net. Now you have a little less stability behind him because Jake Allen was one of the better number 2 goaltenders in the league. So you have a little less stability there, but the frontline group, the forward group will still be strong. I know they're hoping at some point during the year to get Vlad back, and they didn't have Tarasenko much at all last year. And even after he came back, he got hurt again pretty quickly thereafter. So I think we look at them as a contender. That hasn't changed at all. They should be one of the top, I would think, 3 or 4 teams in the Western Conference, barring serious injuries.
All right, Kevin Wheeler from our sister station KMOX. AP, appreciate the heads up on these things, Kevin.
No worries. Anytime, guys. Have a good one.
All right, just ahead here, promoting socialism through capitalism.
We're promoting socialism?
No, I'm telling you who's promoting socialism through capitalism. But before we do that, you guys have a giveaway to do, right?
Well, you do too. But hey, here's the phone number.
I love giving away other people's stuff. That's
holiday light pack giveaway. Here's the phone number: 314-241-9797. Go ahead and dial that. 314-241-9797. Caller number 10 will receive 1 vehicle pass to Winter Wonderland at Tillis Park, 1 vehicle pass to A Lot of Lights at St. Charles Family Arena, and a vehicle pass to Wonderlight Christmas at Worldwide Technology Raceway. So you will do all the light seeing you could possibly want in one season, plus admission for 4 to Zoo Lights at the St. Louis Zoo. Winners will use these passes before January 2nd. Promotions director will contact you via email, mail you the prize. Caller number 10 wins right now.
Ryan, you're so good at that.
Yes.
You sound just like so happy and Christmassy.
Well, you know what? I have a great writer.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm just reading his script.
What can I say?
All right, just ahead here. Like I said, promoting socialism through capitalism. Yeah, I'll make sense of that just ahead.
My part up on the floor. Oh, when that love comes down with a devotion, what it takes to stone.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
Cause I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Selling your home creates a lot of questions, right? What's my home worth? Is now a good time to sell, or should I wait until after the holidays? It can all be overwhelming. That's why I trust and recommend my family and friends to Gloria Liu with GL International Realty, part of Coldwell Banker Premier Group. Hey, it's Mark Cox. I've been telling you about Gloria for a while now, and she is the real estate authority in St. Louis. She's got a proprietary marketing system that helps her sell for up to 3% more. That's $9,000 more on a $300,000 home because Gloria has the buyers. She recently sold a home in Eureka. The seller was thrilled to get several offers the first 24 hours and sold for way over asking price in just a week. She's also got a guaranteed sale program. Ask her about it. Get your home sold right with Gloria Liu. Here's her number, 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or go online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
So Michael's Flooring Outlet is waiting for you to stop by and visit them. These folks know flooring. And they're one of the reasons why I am so emphatic about shopping anywhere you want for flooring, but making sure that you stop by Michael's Flooring Outlet before you make a decision is because they have the experts in flooring there. They're going to be able to match the technology you need in your house. Like take, for instance, waterproof flooring. you're probably going to need waterproof flooring if you got pets or if you've got kids or if you got grandkids or slappy husbands. I mean, I don't know. It's totally your circumstances. But if you want waterproof flooring, you go to a place like Michael's Flooring Outlet because he's bought it in bulk and he is making sure that he can pass on the savings to you. Also, if you're looking for carpet, laminate, vinyl, tile, hardwood floors, they have a huge selection with a ton of different finishes that are made with great quality, and he's going to pass them along to you for a great value. Mohawk, Smart Strand, Forever Clean, Arrow, Revwood Plus Flooring. Check them out in St. Charles County and West County, also in Darien Prairie. You can visit them online right now to see the great deals at michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Guys, 2020 has been a rough year on everyone, and that includes your wife or girlfriend. So spoil her this Christmas by treating her to some rest and relaxation with the world's softest pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts for nearly 20 years. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. They're silky smooth on the outside, soft like a baby bunny on the inside, to wrap her in warmth and comfort all winter long. Just the ticket for melting away her stress and helping her to relax and restore after a long day and year. And right now, when you order today, you'll get a great deal. Free gift packaging. That means you don't have to wrap a thing. Get her the world's softest pajamas and get your free gift packaging today before this deal disappears. Just go to pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's pajamagram.com.
The Dave Glover Show.
It shouldn't matter that I don't have a television station to listen to. It shouldn't matter that I don't connect with anyone. All I have to do is vote a couple times a year.
Weekdays at 3 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Said the night went to the little lane.
You know, Mike, did you pick out all the music today?
You guys are talking over a great Christmas song.
It's so good. No, I picked this one.
It is. I'm just one of those who thinks that the right time to start playing Christmas music is right around December 23rd.
You're crazy.
You are a Grinch.
No kidding. A lot of people will say, well, you got to wait till after Thanksgiving like Tony Colombo does.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's fair, yeah.
But
December 23rd.
And then end it on, and then stop playing it on Christmas night around, say, 6 p.m.
No way.
Mike, where is your Christmas?
I'm always
spirit?
depressed. That's actually the moment I get depressed is usually on Christmas. I don't know what Christmas is going to look like this year because our family's all over the place doing stuff. But it usually on Christmas morning, the day after Christmas, when I turn the radio on, there's no Christmas music. That's when I get kind of sad.
Well,
it's
okay,
really
so
over.
on a similar note, that's like every year. This is like the back and forth kind of pretend argument, sort of pretend argument that my wife and I have as to when to put up the Christmas. I mean, she goes all out. Katie, I think you saw the pictures of our house with the Christmas decorations. I mean, my wife goes all out for this. And, I started to say, no, not until she goes, this has been a horrible year. Everything's happened. I want joy in this house now.
Let me do it.
And I'm like, fair enough. Proceed.
Totally. People were putting up their Christmas trees. My friends were putting up their Christmas trees on election night. Like November 3rd, putting up their Christmas trees.
No, she put ours up. It was, I think it was like 3 or 4 days before Thanksgiving because she wanted it. She wanted the tree up by the time the family got in for Thanksgiving, which, hey, by the way, Sam Page, my family drove in for Thanksgiving. We hosted it.
I was going to say,
anyway. So it looks great. But this year I'm like, you know what? That is a fair point. This year has sucked so bad that if that adds some extra joy, then so be it.
You two people being in the same room is the most safe thing in the world, though.
we were just saying that off.
Oh,
air.
yeah?
We were just saying that. We're like, well, there are two people in this building that are super safe right now. And it's me and it's Mike because we both have had COVID.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you saw this, but there were reports that that are coming out, and it's stuff that we've all kind of figured did happen, but now they're saying, they're confirming it, that COVID was probably in the United States as early as December.
Yep.
And I almost am sure that my wife had it at least.
Yeah.
Because she had what they called it at the time, the quote unquote mystery flu going around her school. And what else could that have been? It was all the symptoms. I think I might have had it, but I didn't get it nearly as bad as she did, which would be great if so, because then we're immune too. So.
I mean, it's possible that millions of people have already had it and didn't know it, and so, yeah, I mean, that does not surprise me. When those reports started coming out, I think it was March. It was early March for me when I got it. And then now my kind of infamous story of COVID in the hospital and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they're saying that. And I know, and Ryan, you're not the first person I've heard to say that actually makes a lot of sense. That explains, why I was feeling that bad, or why my coworkers are, I talked to somebody, a friend of ours called the other night, and she worked at a law firm at the time. And she said it was about that time. And she said, she goes, it just, everybody was sick and calling in, and we thought it was the flu, but it wasn't like the flu. And now we're finding out that that's probably what it was. And that was, and her office is here in St. Louis.
And what's odd is that we still knew about it going on because China was having it. We all kind of had at least part of an eye on that, but none of us thought, that's over there. It couldn't be here.
Right.
Gosh, remember those days?
I mean, it's not like they've invented, things that would fly us from continent to continent anymore.
Right. Or boats. Like, who would have thought?
Which we've been using for thousands of years.
It's so hard to wrap my mind around before COVID. And it's not like, and I know that sounds stupid because it's been 9 months, right? 10 months, 9 months?
About 10 months, yeah. Since the whole, we acknowledged and said it's here and it's a thing now.
And so, you've had years and years and years and years before COVID, but just getting used to the way that you interact with other people and getting used to the restrictions that you have with other people and the restrictions you have with going out to eat and, wearing a mask and adjusting. It's just crazy for me to think that January and February of this year, we were still doing our thing.
Yeah, we were still
normal,
shaking hands. We were still hugging if you're a hugger. We just felt like rebels in that last commercial break because I said, you know what, just because we can, high five.
Right.
And that was something you don't do anymore.
It's crazy to think that we are the safest people in this building right now, but it's true. We both have had it. We have the antibodies.
Mm-hmm.
Those of us who are adults, I think we'll get back into normal routines. It worries me about my kids and probably Mike, your kids. I don't know if they're a little older, but
yeah, they're both in their 20s. Yeah.
Okay, well then that's a little different. But mine are so little that they're being taught in school, 3-year-olds, 6-year-olds, that they can't ever high five anybody like you guys just said, or give anybody a hug, and they gotta not touch anyone. It's I don't know that they're gonna ever think that they can, because they've been trained that they can't.
Well, and that's what Katie and I were talking about a few minutes ago. You weren't in the room, and I said one of the things I hate the most about this is that we all basically treat each other as though we're in an episode of The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
and I hate that.
Yeah,
and I think it leans towards we treat each other that way.
Because I walk around biting people.
Yeah,
well,
totally.
That too.
That's my fault.
And I crave
acknowledge
human
that.
flesh. It's like the
I
weirdest
like
thing.
brains. I just like brains.
I like brains. But it's, and all of that has to do with we treat each other that way. And I didn't even know this until I had it. But the reason why we do that is because there's so much misinformation.
Yeah.
And there's so much what ifs, and we're all terrified and we're all scared. So whenever you do, after you have COVID and you're done with your quarantine, you can come back into civilization. Not only are you questioning how everybody feels about you, but everybody is looking at you with the side eye, like, did you get tested?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Can I be around you? And, there's so much misinformation on the internet about what happens.
Right. And talk about the misinformation, which is why you've got an increasing number of people who not only have had it, but remember, what we're not hearing on a lot of these reports is we're hearing 1,000 new cases today in this area. But what you're not hearing is there's probably 1,200 who are now cleared of it and have gone back to normal life as well. And so we're remaining distant, and just because we can't take any chances with anybody on this. I mean, I'm not going to get into. We all know the survival rates and all that kind of stuff. They're astronomical, even higher now when you factor in all the people that likely had it and didn't know it, because most people don't have very many symptoms. But that doesn't say, okay, we're taking some extra precautions. We're using some more common sense. We're sanitizing the stuff in the house more. And that's great. Nobody is saying not to do that. But at some point, we are social creatures. We are made to have contact with other people. I mean, not even just just in the room. I mean, we're made to touch other people. That's why handshakes are such a big thing around the world in all kinds of different cultures. That's why, people hug each other. That's part of what it is to be human. And we're denying ourselves that.
Gosh.
That's why cases are just such a bad metric.
Yes.
For studying this at all. Hospitalizations and deaths, I think that's where you got to stick to.
Yeah, and then look at also the demographics and the age groups and that kind of thing, and that's all important. But there's also more to life than COVID. And I like to think that, as we all know, that I had it pretty rough. That I'm coming at this from a perspective that says you're not going to find anybody more empathetic than me. I was in the freaking ICU. I mean, trust me, I know what it can do, but I'm just not willing to shut down everybody's lives and and infantilize them and say you're not allowed to make these calculated risks by living your life.
Well,
yeah, you two really have the ability to speak on it more than anybody does.
And I feel something that happens a lot too, and we've said this over and over and over again. When you look at the media and you look at these pundits, there's a lot of fear mongering that surrounds this. And as you said, it is serious. People are dying. I totally understand that. And it is devastating. But I would like to look at CNN. And right now it says cases so far today, and it shows as deaths so far today, and it shows it. But where are the people coming on CNN saying, I had it, I survived, I understand what's going on? Because we also need that balance. We also need to hear the stories that are like, I did have it. It was crazy. I'm back on my feet now, and I'm living my life, and I still am taking my precautions for my loved ones, but I'm here.
Or the people who say, like, for instance, the guy that cuts my hair, he called me. He's like, I got to cancel your appointment. This was months ago. He goes, I can't believe this. I tested positive for COVID. I'm like, really? I said, are you okay? He's like, I didn't even know I had it. He said, I had a tickle in my throat for like 4 hours. And somebody said, well, you're here. Just get a quick test. He goes, and I tested positive. He goes, I thought it was allergies.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who, I mean, masked before it was even required by the county. He was doing it in his business. He was doing everything right. But there are so many more people like that out there. And that's the thing, is two things can be true at the same time. We can take it seriously, and we can also acknowledge that we still have to live our lives. The two don't have to conflict. And that's what's awful about the way we're dealing with this in the media and on social media. The toxicity of that is that we think that it's either or all. It's all or nothing. You're either for locking people in their homes and being in a bubble and never being around another human soul, or you want grandma to die. Right. I mean, that's really, and that's such a stupid
and you're a
conversation.
bad person.
Yeah.
No matter what you choose.
Right.
You're a bad person to a lot of people in society, whatever you personally choose that's best for you and best for the people around you.
Yeah. I mean, like, medically speaking, Katie, you and I, there's no medical reason for us to have to put a mask on our face every time we go out.
Right.
None.
But I do it
because it makes other people feel more comfortable.
I do it because other people feel much more comfortable to be around me, and that's cool beans with me.
And so, but that's where the one size fits all approach just doesn't make any sense. All right, I'm going to leave this story. By the way, the using the social or capitalism to sell socialism. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is trying to raise money for her causes by selling sweatshirts that say "Tax the Rich" for $60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you're paying a ton of taxes on that $60, I guess.
And if I can't afford it, I think she owes the fact that it's a right. I should have a sweatshirt. She owes
we all should have sweatshirts, Mike.
It's a right.
It's all right.
All right,
Everybody
DGS
does
coming
it.
your way here in just a moment. Been a lot of fun, everybody. Thanks. I'm Mike Ferguson.
I'm not America's sweetheart, so beat the drum with me. I'm not America's.
Hello, fashion-conscious home lovers. Let's transform your lovely home's sense of fashion with the most beautifully current and stylish chic designer window treatment.